Chapter 427. Let's rewind time for a day. The night before Verona's coronation as Empress, Gu Qingshan had just returned from the ocean, returning to the mountaintop mansion. Su Cher was still stuck in the crossroads of fate. Dust. The border between the Holy Empire and Fuxi. A barren town. Although the town's church was a bit old, it was fortunate that there was an old priest guarding it. For many years, regardless of the weather, the church's doors were always open. But today, the church's doors were tightly shut. The curious townspeople asked around and found out the reason. The nearly 100-year-old chandelier that would creak when the wind blows finally came to an end. It fell from the ceiling. The chandelier smashed through 2 rows of seats, almost hitting the old priest. Just like that, the church couldn't be used anymore. Perhaps it was to repair the seats, or perhaps it was because he was still in shock and needed to rest. Either way, the old priest declared the church to be temporarily closed. The doors closed, separating the inside and outside of the church into 2 different worlds. Inside the silent church, the old priest's voice suddenly came. He spoke with a hoarse voice. "Your Highness Anna, you are the greatest genius in the history of the Medici clan, the only head of the clan to have fully grasped the ancient techniques. This old man believes that you are already the strongest head of the clan. There is no need for you to risk your life here again." In front of him, the beautiful red-haired girl spoke. "No need to persuade me anymore, I have to give it a try, Anna." Anna was here. She had a large backpack on her back, standing in the middle of the church. The old priest tried his best to persuade her. The clan has produced many excellent successors, each of them tried their best to awaken the god of death. A few of them even committed suicide in front of the sleeping coffer, hoping that the god of death would show themselves, but no matter what they did, the sleeping coffer didn't respond at all. Up until now, only the first-generation ancestor has ever opened it. "Your Highness Anna, this coffer is an ominous object. This old man advises you to quickly return. Cut the crap, I'm the head of the clan, the head of the clan has to try, this is the rule." Anna put her hands on her hips and said. The old priest sighed. "There's no one left in the family. For the continuation and legacy of the family, your most important mission is to ensure your own safety." Anna nodded. "You're right, I don't think I'm stronger than my ancestors, I just want to quickly end this inheritance mission." The old priest was slightly stunned. Anna said, "I've never felt that I'm stronger than those ancestors in history. I also cherish my life very much. As the head of the family, I came here just so that I won't have any regrets in the future." "I see." The old priest looked at her expression carefully and was relieved to find that she really did not have much hope. He was afraid that Anna would take things too hard and pay a huge price to open the inheritance treasure box. The Medici clan can't afford any more losses. "But, Your Highness, why do you look so anxious?" the old priest asked carefully. Anna said, "Nonsense, let's end this quickly. I have to go back immediately." She clenched her fist and declared, "I've completely understood the ancient techniques, I'm no longer the me of the past, I'm going to kill the Pope." "Princess Anna, I believe in your abilities." The old priest smiled, as if very pleased. "One last question, Your Highness," he said. "Go ahead. Inside your backpack, are you going to use it to awaken the death god?" "Tch, a bag that a girl carries with her, of course it's for herself, why give it to the death god?" "Ahahaha, very well, please go in." The old priest walked to a certain part of the church and lit a torch. He held the torch in one hand and pressed a hidden mechanism in the dark with the other. A slight vibration. The ground of the church sank down, revealing an ancient secret passage. Oh! A fierce cold wind rushed out from the secret passage, wreaking havoc in the church. The old priest turned around and stood on one side of the passage. "Your Highness Anna, please be careful." The old priest gave the torch to Anna. All right, you guard the outside, I'll go in and take a look, if I can't do it, I'll come out, I won't force myself," Anna said. She took the torch, facing the wind, and walked into the passage without looking back. The old priest stared at Anna's back and sighed. "Your Highness has finally grown up." Anna followed the passage. A few moments later, the passage became steeper, almost straight down. A flight of stairs that extended into the darkness appeared under Anna's feet, one step at a time. Her surroundings became damp and cold. Only the torch in her hand gave off a faint light that illuminated a small area. Anna had been walking for over an hour, but the stairs still continued to extend downward. She stopped in her tracks, growing impatient. "How long is this going to take? I don't have much time to waste." Saying so, Anna tightened her backpack. She leapt up high and flew straight down into the darkness. Behind her, a pair of wings made of flames were flapping at full power, illuminating the entire dark abyss. The stream of hot air whistled as it carried Anna down slowly. The wind blew past her long hair, whistling past her ears. Using the light from the wings, Anna could clearly see the rocks, stairs, and fleeing bats along the way. She avoided these obstacles without slowing down at all. This flying speed was several dozen times faster than walking down the stairs. A few minutes later, Anna arrived at the bottom of the abyss. It was completely dark and silent here. The torch was about to go out. Anna raised it up so that she could clearly see her surroundings. A large black door appeared at the end of the tunnel. This door was so large that Anna had to look up to see a single sentence etched on top of the door. "The god of death sleeps here, only the dead can see him." Anna stared blankly at this sentence for a while. In history, there were a few extremely powerful heroes who managed to find some clues and discovered the Medici clan's secret. They snuck in here alone. But no matter who they were, as soon as they came to this door, they died. Every single combatant fell into eternal slumber. Only a member of the Medici clan can safely enter the Holy Temple. Even so, since the beginning of time, the Medici clan has never been able to awaken the god of death. Countless clever clansmen tried everything they could think of, but in the end, they focused on this sentence. They stood in front of God's altar, attempting suicide to awaken the slumbering god. But it still didn't work. Anna wouldn't do that. She held the life substitution contract, cleared her throat and solemnly spoke to the black door. "I, the contractor of the god of death, the new leader of the Medici clan, Anna Medici, request to enter the Holy Temple." The life substitution contract seemed to have sensed something and became extremely cold. Rumble, the black door opened. As soon as Anna went in, the door quickly closed again. It was completely dark. A suffocating silence enveloped this place. "This is the holy temple of the sleeping god of death." Anna put up a finger. Pop! A small flame appeared on her finger, illuminating her beautiful face. Anna lightly flicked her finger. The flame flew into the air, turning into a raging flame. The flame illuminated the entire holy temple. Anna looked around. Even though she already knew about this place from her clan's records, Anna still couldn't help but feel shocked. There were a total of 12 human-shaped statues that were as tall as a 10-story building. The 12 statues held long black scythes in their hands, representing the authority to expel demons, slay evil spirits, and protect all living beings. The statues wore skinny dog masks on their heads, representing the ability to devour the unclean bodies of the dead and purify their souls. The black crow and hound deity were the servants of the god of death, the gods who spread slumber and death. These statues were the death hound deity. The 12 statues stood on both sides, surrounding a tall platform in the middle of the holy temple. It was a lonely platform that looked a bit like a lighthouse, but there were no stairs to go up. This was a typical structure of the Holy Church of Death. Every church of the Holy Church, only the place where God descended, can be built like this. This is the platform of Death's descent. No worshippers are allowed to climb up the platform, because that's the highest place of God, not something mortals can violate. This was explained in the clan's records. The hibernating chest of death is located on the platform of descent. If someone successfully awakens the god of death, the god of death will appear on the platform, open the hibernating chest, and grant them the most precious treasure. Anna walked under the platform. She looked down. There were deep scratches on the ground, charred gray and old black bloodstains. There were even a few skeletons in the corner. These were the efforts of the Medici clan's inheritors to beg for the god of death to descend. Anna raised her head and looked up. The platform of descent is directly held up by a stone pillar in the air, without any stairs to go up. This symbolizes the separation between God and mortals. For hundreds of thousands of years, the platform has remained silent, never once did a god descend. Anna walked in front of the platform and prayed with both hands. The ceremony began. Anna took a deep breath and loudly chanted the incantation. The judge of good and evil, the guide of the soul, the hermit who keeps the secret of death, the god of slumber and death. Chapter 428. After chanting the inheritance incantation, Anna cut her wrist and let her blood drip onto the ground. The blood quickly seeped into the ground and disappeared. Anna stopped the bleeding and waited in silence for a while. It was quiet. Nothing happened. But this time, Anna was a little more patient. The ritual to summon the slumbering Grim Reaper in the shrine had always taken a full 5 hours. The 5 hours represented the birth of a life, the blossoming, the withering, the return of the soul, and the reincarnation. This was a complete process from life to death, in line with the Holy Church of Death's teachings. In these 5 hours, the summoner could do anything to attract the attention of the Grim Reaper. In history, there were people who displayed their great strength in front of the high platform. There were also people who performed evil sacrifices in an attempt to please the death god. There were even people who suddenly had the idea that only by sacrificing their own or someone else's life would the god of death come to see them. They had paid a terrible price, but no one had succeeded. Therefore, these 5 hours were also known as the Call of Despair. Anna was very calm about this. She had never expected to wake the Grim Reaper from the very beginning. So she did nothing. After all, other than the first head of the Medici clan, countless heroes have appeared throughout history, but none of them managed to summon the god of death. Anna didn't think she was better than them. Anna stood still and waited for a while. 5 hours was indeed a little long. Anna thought for a moment, then stepped back and found a clean place to sit down. She quietly waited for the time to pass, for the ceremony to end. After all, this ceremony was something that the patriarch had to do. He could not give up halfway. Time passed slowly. Inside the divine temple, apart from the occasional crackling sound of the illuminating flames, there was no other movement. Anna didn't do anything. She didn't think of a way to wake up the Grim Reaper. She was just waiting for the 5 hours to run out. When a person watched time pass for no reason, then in his perception, time would become incomparably long. Anna had to wait for most of the night, and she didn't feel any pressure at all, so it didn't take long for her mind to wander. She was the first person in thousands of years to get distracted during the process of summoning a deity. After a long while, Anna shook her head and muttered to herself, "Such a long wait actually requires something important to pass the time." She opened her backpack. 2 bottles of hard liquor appeared in front of him. Fushi's famous wine, Imperial Deer. Anna looked at the 2 bottles of wine and smiled happily. This was the Fushi royal family's century-old liquor. The strongest in the world, second to none. It wasn't easy for her to get her hands on it, and she was even scolded by the Fushi emperor in front of everyone. Anna quickly took out a bottle of strong liquor and skillfully opened the cork. Then, she took out a beautiful thick glass with many edges from her backpack. Pour the wine. In an instant, the aroma of wine filled the air. Anna unconsciously licked the corner of her mouth and gently took a sip from the glass. And this wine was very flavorful. Anna nodded in satisfaction. As expected, he still had to bring some wine down. Otherwise, he would be bored to death waiting foolishly for 5 hours. She took another swig. Time seemed to pass a little faster. An hour later, the bottle of wine was about to be emptied. Anna was in high spirits, and her mind began to wander. What kind of price did they have to pay to awaken the Grim Reaper? Forget it, I don't care anymore. In any case, others had sacrificed countless treasures and even their lives, but no one had succeeded. I wouldn't give anything. Her mind quickly turned and thought of something else. At this time, Verona should be about to be crowned. This is a good thing for the family. Verona will become the Fushi Empress, while I'll have all of the family's ancient battle techniques. This is something that no one has ever done before. After I finish this ceremony and meet up with Verona, I'll be able to take my revenge on the Pope. Thinking that, Anna's mood lightened up. She poured a full glass, raised it high and loudly declared towards the platform of the Grim Reaper, "A toast to you, the Grim Reaper that never shows himself." Saying so, she tilted her head back and down the entire glass. That was a bit too much, so Anna couldn't help but shake her head. What was I thinking just now? Right, Gu Qingshan. What's Gu Qingshan doing at this time? Anna glanced at her hollow brain. It's already midnight, so Gu Qingshan should be asleep already. It's best not to disturb his sleep at this time. Anna paused. No, it's too long, I need to talk to him. What reason should I use to wake him up? Anna glanced at the platform of the Grim Reaper. That's a good reason. She turned on her holobrain and made a video call. The other side quickly picked up. Looking at the scene on the other side, Anna was surprised. It's the middle of the night and the four of you are still drinking? Liao Xing muttered. It's the middle of the night, aren't you still drinking? Anna ignored him and told Gu Qingshan about the Grim Reaper. Then, Su Cher suddenly appeared. So what? Anna turned off her holobrain and smashed the bottle. You think I'm afraid of you? Once this ceremony is over, I'll kill my way there. Anna angrily shouted. No, I need to return to the Federation as soon as the ceremony is over. I need to go to Gu Qingshan's place. Tonight, Su Cher won't be staying at the mountaintop mansion, will she? Anna's imagination ran wild. She even made up her mind to return to the Federation as soon as the ceremony is over. But she didn't know that Su Cher had already gone to Fog Isle after giving her a hard time. The ceremony, Anna glanced at her hollow brain. There's about 3 hours left. What kind of ceremony is this? Su Cher is staying at the mountaintop mansion with Gu Qingshan, while I'm sitting here in this eerie place. The more Anna thought about it, the more annoyed she felt. She staggered to her feet and went to retrieve the bottle of wine. A 100-year-old liquor, the bottle is also very sturdy, it didn't break. Since the cork was opened, a bit of it flowed out. Anna shook the bottle. No sound came from inside. I don't remember drinking so fast. Did it all go out? Whatever, who cares? Anna put the bottle down and opened her backpack. I still have another bottle. She sat on the ground and opened the cork. This time, she was in such a bad mood that she didn't even use a glass and drank from the bottle. How strong! She's never drunk so much of this level of liquor before. After a few more mouthfuls, Anna's face was flushed red, her eyes were drowsy. Her head was shaking. How much time has passed? Anna turned on her holobrain to check the time. The time hasn't changed at all, there's still 3 hours left. It's too long. After knowing that Su Cher is at the mountaintop mansion, waiting has become an unbearable task. It's all because of this damned ceremony, otherwise I would have already gone to the Federation. Anna's anger was growing stronger and stronger. She stood up and staggered a few steps. Then she tripped and fell to the ground. The bottle in her hand flew far away, bounced a few times on the ground, then stopped moving. Anna twisted her body, rushed forward, and caught the bottle. Fortunately, the cork was sealed so not a single drop of liquor spilled out. Anna sighed in relief. Suddenly, she felt a different sensation on her palm. She looked at it. The skin on her hand was cut open, blood was flowing out. The size of the wound wasn't small at all. But Anna didn't feel much pain. Chapter 429. Anna didn't mind and swung her hand, too lazy to bandage her wound. Compared to the wound on her hand, she was more concerned about being mocked by her love rival in front of everyone then falling to the ground like that. Arg! It's all this ceremony's fault, I'm so mad. Anna shouted in annoyance. Oh! Flames spread out from her back, forming a pair of wings. Anna jumped up and flew high and low in the air. Took her a lot of effort to find the right direction. She flew up to the resting platform of death. This is the sacred and inviolable territory of the god of death. She's completely drunk. Anna stood on top of the platform that symbolizes God, looking around. Other than a broken rock, there's nothing here, Anna muttered, unaware of what she was doing. Other than a black rock that symbolizes the sleeping cache, there's nothing else here. That's right, the Holy Church of Death used this black rock to symbolize the sleeping cache. The sleeping cache is a treasure that the god of death carries with him, so of course it wouldn't actually appear here. Perhaps there were a few brave people in history who risked blasphemy and flew up to observe the resting platform of death from a close distance. But there would never be anyone like Anna, flying up to the platform in a drunken state and refusing to go down. An unprecedented scene in the history of the Medici clan had occurred. Anna sat down on top of the resting platform of death. Even though he was sitting here, he was still bored. Her feet were in the air, her hand holding the bottle of liquor, thinking, "When I get to the Union, I'll first use this to put that little girl down, then use that to let her know that she can't just say whatever she wants, and finally, to leave a lasting impression on her, I'll use the ultimate technique." While she was thinking, she kept pouring liquor into her mouth. Her body was burning up, but she could feel something cold on her chest. This thing on her chest made her very uncomfortable. Anna reached inside and took out a small statue of the god of death. A life substitution contract. The only relic of the god of death that the Medici clan's ancestor obtained. Anna put it on the stone platform next to her. A sharp pain came from her hand. She screamed in pain. The skin on her hand had already been scraped off, and she hadn't treated it yet, so blood was still flowing out intermittently. As luck would have it, she grabbed the death god's keepsake and slammed it onto the stone platform. Blood gushed out from the wound on his hand and flowed down the small death god statue onto the stone platform that symbolized the sleeping treasure chest. The fresh blood, the statue of the Grim Reaper, and the sleeping treasure chest were all connected. A curious reaction took place. Invisibly, something quietly descended, silently lurking behind Anna, watching her. Anna knew nothing about it. It hurts. I'm not feeling good. She covered the wound on her hand and groaned in pain. Anna put down the bottle and rummaged through her backpack. She took out some first aid supplies and treated her hand. Her head was heavy and Anna almost fell asleep. It's so stuffy. If only there was a little wind, she said to herself. Suddenly, a gust of cold wind blew from nowhere. The wind made Anna feel refreshed. She had no idea that she had already completed her deal with the Grim Reaper and obtained a gust of wind. If that was all, she would have become the worshipper who made the fewest wishes to God among countless worlds and civilizations. The invisible presence behind her was also about to dissipate. All of a sudden, Anna noticed something was wrong. "Oh no," she muttered. A familiar feeling settled in her chest. She was going to throw up. She threw up just like that. Anna turned around and spat out a mouthful of liquor at the stone platform that symbolized the sleeping treasure chest. Blarg, blarg. So uncomfortable, did I drink too much? While gasping for air, she took out a tissue to wipe her mouth. But unbeknownst to her, just as the invisible presence was about to leave, she vomited all over herself. The invisible presence stood still on the stone platform, not moving at all. It had never seen anything like this before. Anna didn't seem to notice it at all. After throwing up, she felt a bit better. Looking around, Anna was surprised. When did I get up here? This isn't a good place to sleep. I'll be done for if I fall. Saying so, Anna held the bottle of liquor and leapt down to the ground. After getting some wind, her temples started to hurt a bit. The after effects of the liquor were starting to kick in. Anna staggered back to where she was sitting. On the platform, an intense current of air was changing. The current of air came crashing down, landing not too far in front of Anna, facing her. Following the movement of the current, the 12 dog-faced giant statues that stood around the holy temple all looked down at the same time. For the first time in several thousand years they moved. Unfortunately, no one noticed this. The current of air returned to silence, hovering in the air, glaring at Anna. This person who offended God must be punished. HM? What is this smell? The current of air looked down in confusion, only to see a glass of liquor that gave off an alluring aroma. This is liquor. It's been a few thousand years since I've smelled something like this. At this point, Anna had already returned to where she was sitting. She suddenly saw a black figure licking the glass that she put on the ground. Anna's intoxicated eyes opened wide as she angrily rushed forward. She shouted, "That's my glass!" The black figure was startled and took a few steps back with the glass in its mouth. Anna suddenly regained her senses and froze in place. Aside from me, where else could there be a living being in the holy temple? Even a god can't be a living being. She patted her face, forced herself to calm down and looked at the black figure again. Honorable, Anna couldn't finish her words, because she finally saw that this wasn't a god. This was clearly a black dog. That's right, a dog. Why would the death god lick my glass? Anna sighed in relief. But where did this dog come from? She walked forward. The dog didn't move. She walked in front of the dog. The dog held the glass in its mouth, squinting its eyes as it stared at her. A solemn and heavy presence appeared from its body, slowly condensing into an invisible, mysterious power. This power was about to be released to make this person in front of her suffer. Just as the aura was about to be unleashed, Anna did something. She gave it the bottle of liquor in her hand. "Drink?" she asked. Although she was a bit drunk, she knew that it wasn't normal for a dog to appear here. Perhaps this dog was the clue to summon the death god. Anna tapped her forehead, feeling a bit regretful. She didn't want to receive the death god's response, so she didn't bring anything. The only thing Anna had left was this bottle of liquor. It was the only thing she had left. Now, she carefully gave it to the dog. The dog looked at her, then at the bottle in her hand. A brief moment of silence. The dog couldn't help but reach out with its paw to receive the bottle. It took a big gulp from the bottle. She took another big gulp. She took another big gulp. He gulped down another mouthful. Another gulp. The dog licked its lips and happily put the empty bottle down. It glanced at Anna, then at the bandaged wound on her hand. Its nose twitched. That's right, the blood just now belonged to the Medici clan. The black dog nodded unnoticeably. But it's a contract, so it's a bit hard to make a move. This liquor isn't bad either. Should I force myself to forgive her? The dog thought. Anna waited on one side, after it finished drinking, hesitated for a bit, then finally spoke. This was the first time in thousands of years that the Medici clan had communicated with the divinity they worship. This was also a very rare contact between divinities in the history of humanity on this planet. Everything that happened today was enough to be recorded in history. Inside the divine temple of the death god, 12 statues with human bodies and dog faces lowered their heads, silently watching this scene. Anna looked at the black dog, her expression a bit uncertain. The overdose of alcohol had made her head heavy and her mind sluggish. But she still tried her best to think, trying to grasp the crux of the problem. In the end, Anna finally figured out her problem. She carefully observed the black dog, hesitantly asking, "Could it be?" The black dog perked up its ears, raised its tail, and stared at Anna with a serious expression. "The divine temple also has a dog hole?" Anna muttered. Chapter 430. It took a while for Black Dog to calm down. It looked at the girl first. The girl looked like she had too much to drink. From the looks of it, it was obvious that its awakening was an accident. Black Dog looked at the platform. "I was spat on, so in a fit of rage, I broke the contract." Leaving the Sleeping Death's platform means I've entered the mortal world. But the girl is a member of the Medici clan, so she has an unbreakable connection with me. Killing her would hurt too much. I'll have to grant her one more wish before I can leave. Fine, I'll just hurry up and go back. Thinking that, Black Dog looked at the human girl again. The girl was looking around, as if trying to find a dog hole. Her eyes couldn't hold on any longer, looking like she was about to fall asleep. This alcoholic idiot. Black Dog couldn't hold back anymore. It spoke with a low voice. Woman of the Medici clan, I am the servant of the death god, the incarnation of the dog of death. Anna's body shook. She looked at Black Dog. Black Dog looked at her. For a while, neither the woman nor the dog said anything. Then, blarg, Anna vomited again. Black Dog rubbed its forehead with its paw. There's no way to communicate. Really, the mortal world sent a drunkard to such a holy place. Does the Medici clan have no one else? While it was thinking, Anna muttered, You're lying, there's no such thing as a dog in the dog deity's form. Black Dog almost fainted. For the sake of its reputation, it loudly argued. Open your eyes and look carefully, where do I look like a dog? It stood up and howled loudly, shaking the entire holy temple. Anna was drowsy, trying to open her eyes to look at it. Doesn't look like a dog, she muttered. Black Dog turned around and reminded her, Don't you think I look like a wolf? Anna looked at it for a bit, then nodded. A wolfhound. Black Dog. It suddenly roared. Wolfhound my ass, I'm the dog deity. Stupid woman. A dark aura came from its body. Anna was startled. She already has a darkness-type summoning God's chosen skill, so she's very sensitive to this kind of presence. Besides, she was just drunk. She wasn't really an idiot. Anna carefully sensed the aura, and her beautiful eyes suddenly widened. The dark aura was well suppressed by Black Dog. Only 1/1000th of it leaked out. However, it was this faint aura that made Anna's soul tremble like never before. It felt as if he was an ant, and the other party was a prehistoric monster that he had never seen before. Which dog in the world could talk? How could it emit such a dark aura? It really was Inagami. Anna instantly sobered up from her drunken state. She couldn't help but wipe the cold sweat off her forehead. What was going on? I was just drinking. How did I summon the divine hound of death? It was as if he had deeply offended it. It had to be remedied immediately. At this moment, Anna's little brain returned to normal and began to work rapidly. Anna recalled everything that happened just now bit by bit. Thanks to her high intuition when it came to drinking, Anna discovered a truth. Inagami seemed to love wine. Anna hurriedly reached into her backpack to search. The bag was so messy that even Anna didn't know what else was inside. She only brought 2 bottles of royal deer this time. But since she often put alcohol inside before, she took one out to drink as soon as she remembered. Please, gluttonous cat, don't drink everything, leave me another bottle. Anna prayed to her past self. Right after, her hand touched something cold. She took it out to take a look. It was a very pocket-sized bottle of wine. The entire bottle was only the size of her palm. Although this type of wine couldn't compare to royal deer's age and strength, it was still a rare treasure. The taste was much softer and more lasting. Because of how rare this type of wine was, the bottle was also very small and delicate. You can say that this bottle was more to her taste, so she never drank it. And because the bottle was so small, she kept it in a vacuum freezer compartment in her backpack, never taking it out. Anna breathed a sigh of relief. Here, a greeting gift for you, she said. Black Hound looked at the bottle of liquor and coldly said, Little girl, do you think I'd want this bottle of liquor that was fermented and distilled by white jade, stored in oak barrels for 70 years, and then blended with a secret technique after it was released from the barrels to finally have an elegant, soft, and mellow taste? Black Dog tried his best to maintain a cold expression, but his tail couldn't help but wag. Anna looked at his tail and was speechless. What? He clearly wants to drink it. She put the bottle in front of Black Dog. Take it, I was a bit drunk just now, so my words and actions were a bit rude. This bottle represents my sincere apology, she said. Black Dog looked at her, then at the bottle, and finally said, If you're so sincere, I can only reluctantly accept it. Black Dog received the bottle with both paws, bit off the cap, and began to gulp it down. Do you want to mix it with anything? Anna asked. Black Dog happily drank and answered, Don't look down on me, this kind of alcohol is only interesting when it's pure. Anna praised. You're a connoisseur, not bad, not bad. The man and dog exchanged glances, suddenly feeling like they've gotten closer. This is probably the wondrous effect of alcohol. Black Dog suddenly had a thought. He closed his eyes. In just a few seconds, everything related to the Holy Church of Death from the past few thousand years appeared in his mind. Black Dog opened his eyes, his expression a bit sorrowful. So the Medici clan really has no one left, and the Holy Church was also taken over by an outsider. He then looked at Anna. This is one of the few remaining members of the Medici clan. Black Dog's anger subsided quite a bit. His eyes also showed a bit of pity. Anna didn't know any of that, so she asked, Sir, our clan has been calling for you for several thousand years, but you never showed up. Why did you show up today? Black Dog gulped down the rest of the bottle and casually answered, I was sleeping for a few thousand years? An afternoon nap. Black Dog squinted his eyes and continued, You reeked of alcohol, and you puked all over the place where I was sleeping, so I had no choice but to wake up. So you're the great dog deity? The real one? Anna asked hesitantly. So you know about the term real one, that's quite surprising. Black Dog continued. A few thousand years ago, your ancestor helped the dog deity. I'm a strand of the dog deity's will, used to establish faith in this place, as well as taking care of your clan, but you've always been sleeping. Shut up. Then what do you want to do now that you're awake? I don't know yet, right? What's your wish? Please help me summon the god of death, Anna said. Why do you want to summon the god of death? Anna was a bit surprised. She tilted her head, seriously thinking about this. That's right, why do I want to summon the god of death? She thought for a bit before answering. Every generation of our clan has been summoning this deity, perhaps to ask the god of death to grant us some benefits. The god of death is very busy. He doesn't have the time to care about insignificant mortals like you. If you want to ask for anything, just come to me, Black Dog said. You? Anna hesitantly asked. What, are you looking down on me? I'm a very powerful person, can you tell me? You'll find out soon enough. Now, tell me what you want to ask for, Black Dog said. He stared at Anna. She only has one wish left to make. This wish is something he has to fulfill. What I want to ask for? Anna was surprised. She tapped her forehead, a bit troubled. That's not going to be easy. I didn't want to summon the god of death, so I didn't even think about asking for anything. What the hell, do you really need to think about something like making a wish? Black Dog lowered his head for a long time. He sighed, then spoke. Descendant of the Medici bloodline, it's very hard for me to communicate with you like this. Anna also realized and hurriedly said, I'm sorry, I'll seriously think about it right now. Almost immediately, she thought of Sue Cher. That's right, I'm about to go to the Union and face Sue Cher. With the god of death here, I might be able to scare her a bit. That's a good idea. I don't want to take her life anyways, scaring her a bit is fine. More importantly, with the dog deity here, what can't I do from now on? Anna crouched down and sincerely begged Black Dog. Great dog deity, I beg you, please follow me, be my helper. Black Dog looked at her deeply. He shook his head. I only drank a single bottle of your wine, yet you want to make such a wish, to make me your coolie. Not coolie, I want you to be my partner, to fight alongside me, Anna hurriedly said. She clasped her hands together and begged. Great dog deity, I can't promise you anything else, but I have 2 personal wine cellars with over 1,000 bottles of fine wine in them. As long as you help me, I'll give them all to you. How about it? Black Dog's tail began to wag. He solemnly spoke. We divinities are very serious when it comes to vows. I'll agree to your request. Then that's settled, you wait here. I'm going to deal with a God's chosen card user who blasphemed the Church of Death. Saying so, Black Dog disappeared without a trace. Anna was a bit surprised, then overjoyed. Chapter 431. The day the Queen ascended the throne. 3 hells appeared in the human world. They were accumulating their strength, quietly waiting for the moment when they would completely descend. On this day, the Holy Church's Pope Isa died on the spot during the Fuxi Kingdom's banquet. The Fuxi Empress immediately declared Isa to be the fake Pope. She seriously said that the Holy Empire will once again return to the Medici clan's embrace. The Holy Church would also reorganize itself and elect a new Pope. While everyone was hesitating, the president of the Freedom Federation expressed his appreciation and acceptance. Before the luncheon ended, all the dignitaries quickly pondered the implications of this scene. The Fuxi Empire is already in Verona's hands. Other than her, there was another mysterious expert in the empire who could kill a fifth-phase expert like the defense minister in one hit. The Freedom Federation has the highest technological achievement in the world. Impartial goddess. In terms of martial prowess, the Freedom Federation not only had the veteran Marshal Saint Zhang Zongyang, they also had the 3 experts who had just killed the Pope. With these 2 countries expressing their intentions, the other countries would have to carefully consider their own positions. On the other hand, the Pope's death unexpectedly did not cause any great waves. The luncheon ended. The World Conference began. Scientist Gu Qingshan of the Federation launched a new product, the Cultivation Bracelet. The Fuxi Empress announced that as long as they use the Cultivation Bracelet, the God's Chosen Awakening Serum that was previously restricted to holy apostles will be provided once for free. Including the Empire's 5 Elements Awakening Potion and the Federation's Warrior Potential Potion, they were all promised to be used for free. Under the persuasion of the President of the Federation and the Fuxi Empress, the world leaders all tried this technology. The entire experience was very shocking. The Fuxi Empire's bishop received the Holy Church's God's Chosen Awakening Serum. The bishop had used the God's Chosen Awakening Serum in front of everyone. He had awakened. Under his control, flowers bloomed on all the tables in the venue. Then, the Federation's scientist, Gu Qingshan, explained cultivation. When everyone found out that they could greatly increase their lifespan through cultivation, everyone's emotions were ignited. Marshal Saint Zhang Zongyang publicly admitted that he had started cultivating. He used the lifespan detector in front of everyone. The upper limit of his lifespan was 150 years. The leaders of many countries did not believe it and changed several instruments, but the results were still the same. In front of the truth, all of his worries and doubts were no longer valid. After just half an hour of intense discussion, all the governments around the world reached an agreement on a few key issues. At the end of the meeting, the leaders of the various countries announced that they would promote the cultivation bracelet worldwide. From this day onwards, the cultivation bracelet would gradually become common, and everyone would obtain the equal right to evolve. Impartial Goddess began to use the relevant resources from all over the world to produce the God's Chosen Awakening Serum, Martial Artist Potential Growth Serum, and Elementalist Awakening Serum. As for the Cultivation Bracelet, Impartial Goddess had already started production. With the support of every country, Impartial Goddess will speed up her pace, striving to cover the entire world with the Cultivation Bracelet. All of this was to fight against the apocalypse. Fuxi Capital City. A famous bar. The bar was closed today and not open to the public. Dozens of the most powerful underground organizations in the world had gathered here. Zhang Yongho was talking about cultivation. Yi Feili stood behind him, holding a box of ice cream and eating it slowly with a small spoon. Since we can get the medicine for free and extend our lifespan, I don't think anyone will object to this, Zhang Yongho said at the end. The dozens of leaders of the underground organizations silently nodded. A bald man with tattoos all over his body spoke. Zhang Brat, I heard you're also involved in this. That's right, I'm a partner, Zhang Young-ho answered without hesitation. The bald man smiled. Such a good business, how about I, your brother, get a share as well? You misunderstand, the only benefit of doing this is that the scripture's author will be able to create cultivation scriptures for the people around me. Other than that, there are no other benefits. I know, it's the scientist Gu Qingshan, isn't it? The bald man said, carefully observing Zhang Young-ho's expression. I admit, the three of you were able to kill the Pope. That's impressive, the bald man looked around and said to everyone, but business is business. This kind of thing can only be done with the backing of powerful forces like us. Someone else followed up. The rule is that each person in the world is limited to one vial, but if we manage it and keep a portion of it for ourselves, the profits will be more than enough for us to split, someone else added. According to my information, these medicines are all in Gu Qingshan's hands. I feel like there's more room for this kind of cooperation. Everyone else thought about it and agreed. At that moment, everyone looked at Zhang Young-ho with an indescribable look in their eyes. They were like starving wolves that saw flesh and blood. Zhang Young-ho sighed, then told the bald man, Brother Luo, I advise you not to mess with that scientist. His temper is actually quite bad. Also, you have to stop your human trafficking business and release all the people. The bald man asked, Why is that? Because the apocalypse has already arrived, every single person is a precious fighting force. Who knows, one of your slaves might be able to cultivate and give birth to a few geniuses with extraordinary strength. Then, what benefits do I get? The benefit is your life, Zhang Young-ho replied. The bald man couldn't help but chuckle. He tilted his head. You think you can steal my rice bowl with nothing but empty words? Do you want to die, Zhang Brat? The bald man leaned forward and spoke in a low voice. That Gu Qingshan might be quite strong, but people like us will always have a way to kidnap the people around him. He'll come crying to me. After saying so, his head fell to the ground. The leader of the world's human trafficking business died, just like that on the spot. From the void of space, a sword lightly swung through the air before returning to Zhang Young-ho's back. All the leaders of the underworld were enraged. You dare, you're courting death. You've crossed the line. If you break the rules, you're done for. Several figures leapt forward, heading straight for Zhang Young-ho. Zhang Young-ho crossed his legs and didn't move at all. The blood-red glow enveloped Zhang Young-ho. Several attacks collided with the blood-red light and disappeared without a trace. Please return to your seats. Yi Fei smiled as she scooped up some ice cream with a small spoon. Clusters of blood-red light struck the figures in the air. The few of them flew back in a sorry state and landed on their seat. The audience was silent. This move had successfully shocked everyone. Zhang Young-ho continued. It's not just human trafficking, the drug trade should also be stopped. As for the prostitution business, unless someone is willing to give up, no one can force a girl to do anything they don't like, he shrugged. From now on, we're all cultivators, we'll have to call each other fellow Tao Seeker. No one is allowed to cheat fellow Tao Seeker, an old man coldly scoffed. You have the advantage today, but who do you think will listen to you after this? He suddenly felt a chill on his neck. Looking down, he saw a sword hovering right next to his neck. The sword suddenly disappeared. The old man shut his mouth. His back was covered in a layer of cold sweat. Not just him, but all the big shots of the underground world here didn't see how the sword appeared and disappeared. Everyone exchanged glances. Zhang Young-ho put his hollow brain on the table. Listen to this, he said. The hollow brain lit up. A melodious female voice rang out. Greetings everyone, I am Impartial Goddess. I will now announce the Skyfire descent plan. Regarding Mr. Zhang Young-ho's request, please cooperate as one, otherwise I will use the S.W. Xiongwu Interstellar Fortress to directly attack the target from space. Please do not doubt my AI. As a reminder, all the central processing units of the world's countries have been connected to me. From today onwards, If you want to continue living in the human world, please be friends with me. That's all I have to say. Thank you for listening. Goodbye. The hollow brain went dark. Jang Young-ho lit a cigarette and took a deep drag. He stood up, still holding the cigarette in his mouth, as he walked around the room. The hovering sword wanted to follow him, but he waved his hand to stop it. Just like that, he walked past each of the big shots of the underground world without any warning. Not a single one of them attacked him. This seems to be some sort of ritual of the underground world. Jang Young-ho returned unscathed. He told the sword, "You can leave now." A voice came from the sword. "You're not done here. Although our meeting is a bit heated, your presence here is affecting the atmosphere," Jang Young-ho said. The sword disappeared in an instant. Jang Young-ho crouched down in front of the bald man's corpse, using his hand to smooth his eyes. He stood up, his fingers passing over everyone's body. "In front of that sword, do you feel how small you are? Do you feel the fear of death?" he asked. Chapter 432. Without a sound, a new era has arrived. After the World Conference, Impartial Goddess immediately started the program. 4 p.m. The first cultivation livestream to the world began. The first cultivation bracelet user has finished preparing. She's about to start a cultivation livestream in front of everyone in the world. The reason why she was chosen as the first user was because of her popularity worldwide, as well as her unwavering charity work for the disaster-stricken areas of various countries over the past few years. The world's most popular celebrity, Xie Shuangyan. In front of the live broadcast camera, her pure and moving appearance was especially attractive. "Impartial Goddess, I want to ask if I use the serum, but don't awaken my martial artist, God's chosen, or elementalist talents, can I still cultivate?" she asked. "Of course, everyone can cultivate, it's just that the speed is different according to their talent," Impartial Goddess answered. "Then, I have no more questions," Xie Shuangyan said. She put on the silver bracelet. "The first human user is about to begin cultivation. Xie Shuangyan, are you sure you want to use the cultivation bracelet?" Impartial Goddess' voice came. Xie Shuangyan nodded. "I'm sure. 3, 2, 1. Cultivation begins." The silver bracelet lit up. A holographic projection appeared, turning the entire room into a sea of clouds. A feather dress appeared on Xie Shuangyan's body, fluttering in the wind, looking like a fairy descending from the heavens. This is how female cultivators in the cultivation world dress, but it was used by Gu Qingshan in reality. Xie Shuangyan is already a top-notch beauty. Wearing this feather dress, her beauty is unforgettable. Just this opening scene alone was enough to shock countless people. "Hello Xie Shuangyan, what kind of profession are you interested in becoming?" Impartial Goddess' voice came. Following her voice, 3 patterns appeared in front of Xie Shuangyan. A 5-elemental pattern, a prayer pattern, and a martial artist punching. "I want to become a God's chosen," Xie Shuangyan instinctively said. Impartial Goddess answered, "Well, every human has a free chance to choose a profession. Would you like to use it?" "What happens after I choose?" "I will use a miniature warp technology to send a bottle of God's chosen awakening serum in front of you. You must use it on the spot." "What if I didn't awaken the first time and wanted to use another bottle?" "You'll need to make enough contributions to human society. You can use your contribution points to exchange for it." Xie Shuangyan rolled her eyes and said, "Forget it, I want to cultivate for a period of time and understand what I am truly good at before choosing a profession. Is that okay?" "Of course. In fact, it's even better this way. Please help me begin my cultivation." Impartial Goddess began to explain. "The first stage of cultivation is Qi training. You will obtain the basic Qi training technique. I will monitor your cultivation progress and plan and adjust your cultivation career. In addition, if you want to obtain a high-level cultivation technique, you must make a corresponding contribution. Now let's proceed to the first step, Qi Training Stage 1. Currently transmitting Qi Training Stage 1 technique to you. I'm explaining the essentials of the incantation to you. Please follow the contents of the technique and attempt to cultivate it. Alright. Xie Shuangyan looked at the lines of words floating in front of her, and then looked at the explanation below. Even someone like her was curious about such a strange thing. She thought for a moment, closed her eyes, and began to cultivate according to the essentials of the incantation. A few minutes later, Xie Shuangyan opened her eyes. "Is that so?" she asked. On her hand, a white light appeared out of thin air. It was a power he had never seen before. Xie Shuangyan was silently surprised. Impartial Goddess spoke. "Congratulations, you've reached Qi Training Stage 1 next, the incantation for Qi Training Stage 2, another section of the incantation appeared. Still not a lot." Xie Shuangyan closed her eyes and continued to cultivate according to the incantation. Luckily for a beauty like her, even if people stared at the screen, they wouldn't feel bored. A few minutes later, Xie Shuangyan raised her hand. Her entire hand was glowing. "Is that so?" she asked. Impartial Goddess checked it, then answered. "Congratulations, you have reached Qi Training Stage 2 next, the incantation for Qi Training Stage 3 Qi Training Stage 3. Xie Shuangyan broke through again. Impartial Goddess went silent for a few moments, then spoke. "Continuous breakthroughs will affect your foundation. Please follow the incantation for the first 3 stages to stabilize your cultivation." Alright, Xie Shuangyan regretfully said. But now, she could already control some small objects to fly back and forth with a wave of her hand. She thought for a bit, then waved her hand. A glass flew from afar and landed in her hand. Xie Shuangyan took the glass and took a sip of water. She looked at the screen and asked, "I heard that when you reach a high enough realm, you can increase your lifespan?" Indeed, after Qi training is Foundation Establishment. Foundation Establishment's lifespan is 150 years. Impartial Goddess answered. After that, Golden Core Realm 500 years. Xie Shuangyan was stunned, then muttered, "That's a lot. Aside from lifespan, the power you wield will greatly increase your attack power. At Qi training stage, it'll increase by about 20%, is that so?" Xie Shuangyan was interested. This time, she was really interested. She smiled at the screen. "Alright, today's livestream will end here. Please experience the rest for yourselves." The livestream ended. The entire planet was in an uproar. Lifespan. Professionist power. Everyone seemed to have gone mad, craving for the cultivation bracelet. 6 p.m. Hell was still slowly descending. The governments of the various countries announced that they will officially distribute the cultivation bracelet to all citizens. The cost of the starter serum will be covered by the government. The materials used to make the bracelet will also be provided by the government. But everyone must sign an agreement to serve their country, contribute to humanity's cultivation, and obey orders to fight against the apocalypse. Those who break the agreement will lose their right to use the bracelet forever. From the very first day of the cultivation era, it had already reached its climax. The mountaintop mansion. Everyone had returned, sitting on the sofa to rest. Gu Qingshan looked at the time. Huang Quan's reinforcements are about to arrive. "There's something wrong with that Xie Shuangyan chick," Liao Xing suddenly said. "What is it?" Gu Qingshan asked. "She only needs to close her eyes and she's already at Qi training stage 3. It took me quite a bit of effort," Liao Xing angrily said. "Alright, she's talented, you're also quite talented, but you can't compare yourself to others," Gu Qingshan smiled and said. He thought for a bit, then said, "But I still need to make it clear to everyone that they shouldn't use Xie Shuangyan's standards." "Understood, sir," Impartial Goddess replied. "Also, you killed the Pope and the Empress only gave you a shitty medal?" Liao Xing pointed at the medal in Zhang Yongho's hand and scoffed. "This isn't a shitty medal," Zhang Yongho pridefully said. This is a special medal given by the Empress. With this, we don't need to spend any credits to use the Fuxi Empire's facilities or resources. The Empire will pay for us." Liao Xing was a bit surprised, then asked, "Then, can I lend it to others?" "I'm sorry, but there's an ID chip inside the medal. No one else can use it." "How boring," Liao Xing begrudgingly said. Impartial Goddess suddenly asked, "Sir, I've noticed that a lot of the resources needed for high-level cultivation are products that need to be further processed, like the pills recorded in the scriptures. I can't make them. How do I solve this problem?" "Let's just wait and see." Gu Qingshan didn't mind. "When more and more people reach Foundation Establishment Realm, this problem will probably be solved." "Very well," Impartial Goddess answered. Impartial Goddess didn't need to ask, but Liao Xing couldn't help himself. "This is a big problem. How do you plan to solve it?" he asked. "Just wait and see," Gu Qingshan answered. "Tell me, don't keep me guessing," Liao Xing complained. Gu Qingshan smiled. "I'm not guessing, I'm just afraid you'll go crazy if you hear it. Just tell me, I won't go crazy." "Alright, if we can get through this crisis, I'll find a time to fuse the two worlds into one," Gu Qingshan said. "No, it should be the fusion of three worlds," he continued. He went silent, then seemed to have remembered something as faint killing intent rose from his body. Chapter 433. Gu Qingshan leaned back on his chair, lightly swirling a glass of iced liquor in his hand. As long as the worlds fuse, the problem of cultivation resources will be easily solved. The 6 arts will quickly become part of people's daily lives. As for the issue of fairness between worlds, after a bit of thought, he continued, "With my identity, I can naturally guarantee that this world will receive a relatively fair future. Join a sect? Or serve the country? Or become a free rogue cultivator? Everyone has the right to choose." Liao Xing was stunned. He's a smart person, so he understood every single word Gu Qingshan said. Because of that, Liao Xing couldn't believe it at all. Gu Qingshan must have been to another world. He had an illustrious status in that world. He knows how to fuse worlds. He's prepared to turn 2 worlds into one. From Gu Qingshan's personality, as well as his current tone and expression, Liao Xing can tell that he's telling the truth. Liao Xing asked in disbelief, "Multiple worlds? You're saying that there are other worlds?" Gu Qingshan smiled. "If there are so many unimaginable cultivation scriptures, surely you don't think that they just popped out of nowhere?" Hearing that, Liao Xing and Zhang Yongho both felt that it was only natural, but also inconceivable. It was only natural, because everything that Gu Qingshan brought out was a complete system. With their knowledge, they naturally understood that without at least a few hundred or even a few thousand years of development, it would be impossible to form such a complete and mature cultivation system. Unless they're a god, no one would be able to do such a thing. They were very sure that Gu Qingshan wasn't a god. So the answer was obvious. But they still didn't believe that answer. Now that Gu Qingshan admitted it himself, even if they wanted to pretend that they didn't know, they couldn't. Zhang Yongho didn't say anything, but now he couldn't help but speak up. "You're saying that other than our world, there are other worlds?" he asked. "There are, but not just another world, not just the other one?" Zhang Yongho repeated. "Yes, I don't know exactly how many worlds there are." Gu Qingshan thought for a bit. "Let me calculate. Our world, the cultivation world, Shunwu world, and the world that I'm about to go to. That's right, that world is about to end. Many people in that world are escaping to other worlds, so there are at least a few other worlds." Zhang Yongho and Liao Xing were stunned. Liao Xing slapped his face with his hands and said, "I need to calm down, I need to calm down." The door suddenly opened. Yi Feili retracted her bone wings and walked in. "I'm exhausted," he said, plopping down on the sofa. "How's the situation in the desert?" Gu Qingshan asked. "The individual strength of those giants is not bad, and the formation they built is also very powerful. Even I had to spend a lot of effort to escape," Yi Feili said. After a moment of silence, he asked tentatively, "Are they also immortal?" "That's right," Gu Qingshan answered. "Even I'm having so much trouble dealing with them. No one else is a match for them. Seems like this world is done for." Yi Fei closed her eyes. Zhang Yongho worriedly said, "Unless everyone breaks through at Xie Shuangyan's speed, there's no way we'll be able to deal with hell." "That's right, even with the cultivation bracelet. Humanity has only just started cultivating. It's impossible to win against these immortal monsters," Gu Qingshan sighed. He looked at the war god Yui. "Huang Quan reinforcements will arrive in 1 hour and 5 minutes. Reinforcements will arrive soon. What will they be?" Gu Qingshan was a bit nervous. He sent his voice through inner sight and asked the Earth Sword. "Earth Sword, I remember you once said that you hid in the space vortex for a very long time." "That's right, I hid in the space vortex for 10,000 years, the Earth Sword replied. "You've existed for so long, have you ever been to Huangquan?" "I did pass by the outside once, but it was only for a short time, so I didn't go too deep." "What's the outside of Huangquan like?" "Within the space vortex, there's a dark cave. At the time, I only hid in there for a while before leaving. I heard that you'll need to go through this giant cave to reach Huangquan." Gu Qingshan suddenly thought of a more important question. If the reinforcements were really that strong, they should have already dealt with the problem of hell in Huangquan. Why would they let the dead from hell roam the human realm? Shaking his head, he gave up on thinking. "Fine, they'll be here soon, let's talk about it after we meet." Time slowly passed. 1 hour passed. Ting! The system notification sounded. A few lines of glowing text appeared on the war god UI. "Huang Quan reinforcements will arrive soon due to the player's previous heroic actions, successfully stopping the frozen hell's rapid expansion. Reinforcements will first meet you. Please find an empty place to meet the Huang Quan reinforcements for the first time." After reading through, Gu Qingshan stood up and left. "Where are you going?" Zhang Yongho asked. "I'm going to meet a few people who should be our business partners. Do you want to come take a look?" Gu Qingshan asked. "Business partners? Why didn't I know that we have a new business partner?" "Alright, of course I'll meet them." Zhang Yongho stood up. Yi Fei and Liao Xing were also very interested. The 4 of them left the mansion. The sky had already darkened. Nightfall. "Where are we going to meet our new business partners?" Zhang Yongho asked. Gu Qingshan looked around. Outside the villa on the mountain was an empty field. Before, to prove the power of her spirit energy, Gu Qingshan had fought against Anna here for a short period of time. "We'll just wait in the empty field," he said. Everyone nodded, expressing that they understood. So it was the other party who personally came to visit. Obviously, the other party is someone important, otherwise Gu Qingshan wouldn't have come out to greet them like this. Who exactly is it? With that question in mind, they all went to the empty field. Gu Qingshan glanced at the war god Yui. "Reinforcements will arrive in 1 minute." Gu Qingshan looked at the 3 people next to her and said, "The reason why I'm telling you about the world today is because what's about to happen next might shatter your understanding of it." The other 3 exchanged glances, feeling nervous. Liao Xing covered his eyes with his hand and said, "I've had enough, damn it, I should go get drunk right now." "Who's coming?" Yi Fei asked with interest. "I don't know what it is either, but they're probably here to help us," Gu Qingshan answered. The war god Yui returned to 0 at the last minute. "They're here," Gu Qingshan said. The 4 of them looked around at the same time. There was nothing. In the darkness of the night there was suddenly light. "Up there," Zhang Yongho said. A gigantic glowing scroll appeared in the sky. It slowly floated down, slowly unfurling itself in front of Gu Qingshan's group. The surface of the scroll was a bit yellowed, the edges were worn and tattered, even the center of the scroll had a few small yellowish black holes, as if someone used smoke to burn them. In short, this scroll looks like it's been through countless years. The center of the scroll was originally empty. As the scroll slowly unfurled, 2 large blood-red words appeared on it. "Warning! Seeing these two words, the four of them tensed up. Following that, lines of text appeared. If you are a newcomer to hell, this warning is for you. When you see these words, it's obvious that you're a scum, someone who's wasted a lot of opportunities to be kind to others. Do you have nothing better to do every day? Is your life so empty that you don't have anything else to do besides doing bad things? Or are you a guy who only follows what others say, does what others tell you to do, and doesn't dare to go against the boss of your own gang? Buddy, your life is so terrible. Let me ask you one last time. In your short or long life, can't you do anything else other than doing bad things? Very well, please enjoy the endless pain of hell. When you're alive again, please don't be a mediocre person, and don't masturbate in front of your computer anymore. Please leave your room, make more friends, see more of the world, find the things you want to do, and start working hard to prove that your life has meaning. Swear that you won't live a good life, or voluntarily throw yourself into hell's embrace. Now, we've warned you, come to hell to suffer and repent, then begin your journey once again. Reading the words on the paper, the four of them fell into thought. Chapter 434. Damn it, this has nothing to do with me. This is for the bastards who are about to go to hell, Liao Xing replied. We're still in the human realm. Why are you warning us? Yi Feili was confused. Looking at the scroll, the four of them were a bit confused. Suddenly, a voice full of power came. My apologies, this is indeed the opening line of hell, but we don't really know how to write lines, so we didn't change the content. The four of them looked around, but aside from the scroll floating in front of them, there was nothing else. Who are you? Gu Qingshan asked. The voice spoke. Please move aside, I'm currently descending, I won't be able to save anyone if I crush them to death. The four of them retreated quite a bit. A few moments later, a loud explosion could be heard. Thick smoke rose. It seemed like something had really appeared. A few moments later, the smoke scattered. There was something that looked like a fridge in the middle of the empty space. Not really a fridge, as this thing was a bit bigger than a fridge. Looking at its shape, it looked like a large coin-operated game console. There was light coming from the machine, as well as the faint sound of a passionate song. If one listened carefully, they would find that it was countless voices singing hymns together. The machine was completely black, with a large 1 on the side. Young ones, you've done well. The frozen hell can't be fully activated for now, the machine praised. Who are you? Gu Qingshan asked again. I am the prayers trial machine, an office terminal from Huang Quan. The machine introduced itself. Nice to meet you. Gu Qingshan wiped the sweat off her forehead and greeted it. So this was the reinforcement. The prayers trial machine let out a rumbling sound. Do you have any dissatisfaction towards this world? Is there any kind of injustice or oppression in this world? If any of those problems occur, please talk to me immediately. Wait a minute, let me ask you, did you come from Huang Quan? Gu Qingshan asked. Without a doubt, I did. Gu Qingshan evaluated it. You don't look like something from Huang Quan. To increase the efficiency of Huang Quan's work, we're currently moving towards automated work, and I'm one of the representative products. The prayers trial machine answered. Gu Qingshan could only convince herself to believe this. He changed his approach and said, all right, since it's Huang Quan, then there must be an existence in charge of it, yes. Then why are you here? Where are they? It's all over. It's over? What happened? Gu Qingshan asked. This is related to Huang Quan's internal affairs, so I can't tell you. In short, the only ones left in Huang Quan that can help humanity are us automatons, you guys? Gu Qingshan asked keenly. There are other machines besides you? The prayers trial machine replied. Of course, other than me, there's also the hell transfer machine, the sea of suffering machine, the sinners repent machine, the anger cleansing machine, and so on. We have a total of 88 machines, it continued, 88 units, my God. Actually, I also feel that the number of personnel is a bit too high. You guys have different roles? Liao Xing asked. Smart. The prayers trial machine looked at him and spoke. I am a machine used by the divinities for general entertainment. There are also other machines responsible for fighting, cleaning machines responsible for expanding the underworld. Anyway, there are a total of 88 machines. Why 88? Is there a meaning to it? Zhang Young-ho asked. The prayers trial machine sighed and answered, because one of our divinities is very superstitious and thinks that this number is good. By the way, this divinity was the first one to get 88 during the calamity. Gu Qingshan looked around. A cold breeze blew past. The only thing left was the prayers trial machine in front of the four of them. He asked, Where are your good friends? They're still preparing, they'll be arriving soon. Don't mind them, tell me about the current calamity. The prayers trial machine let out a rumbling voice and continued. We might be able to think of a way to help your world overcome this crisis. Can you really do that? Yi Feili asked with uncertainty. Don't look down on us. The prayers trial machine puffed out its chest. We are the newest product of Huang Quan's industrial revolution. Our laws are powerful enough to help the divinities govern Huang Quan, as well as help them deal with all matters of hell. Following its explanation, Gu Qingshan's group exchanged glances. All of them appeared glad. If it really is that powerful, then there's hope for this world. Esteemed prayers trial machine, then I'll be frank, we have 3 hells here, Gu Qingshan curtly told them. It's over. I can't help you. The prayers trial machine sighed. Gu Qingshan, Zhang Young-ho, Yi Feili, Liao Xing couldn't help but curse. You're fucking joking, aren't you? The prayers trial machine replied. Of course not, I really can't solve this problem, but the hell transfer machine's function is to transport the sinful dead to the various hells. You can cooperate with it and transport the trash of the 3 hells to the other hells. That way, the crisis will be eliminated, the prayers trial machine said. But there are a lot of monsters in the 3 hells. Will that hell transfer machine really work? Yi Feili asked. Of course, it's a bit like your train. As long as you stuff the dead inside, they'll be bound and unable to leave the hell transfer machine after that. Once the carriages of the hell transfer machine are filled with the dead, it'll activate and transport the dead back to Huang Quan and throw them into the other hells, Zhang Young-ho muttered. Stuff the dead inside, in other words, we'll have to win against the dead to send them back to hell. 3 hells, that's an astronomical number of dead. How are we supposed to fight them all? Liao Xing asked. We still have to fight even if we can't. Seems like that's the only way, Gu Qingshan mused. While they were discussing, an earth-shattering explosion came from the void of space. A few carriages and a train appeared out of nowhere and fell to the ground. The raging fire burned fiercely on the carriages and locomotives. Soon, they were burned into a pile of scrap metal. Ah, not good. Seems like the hell transfer machine didn't manage to come to the human realm. The prayers trial machine said. How did that happen? Wasn't this thing supposed to help us? Zhang Young-ho loudly asked. Our trip to the human realm wasn't that smooth. The prayers trial machine answered. What was attacking you? Gu Qingshan asked in a low voice. I can't say, the prayers trial machine answered. Everyone exchanged looks, walked forward and carefully checked the wreckage of the train on the ground. This is the hell transfer machine? Can we fix it? Liao Xing asked. Only the divinity that created it would be able to fix it, the prayers trial machine answered. In other words, we've lost our only hope? Zhang Young-ho asked. No, there are actually many other machines that have various methods, the prayers trial machine answered. What methods? Please tell me everything at once, Gu Qingshan asked. The prayers trial machine went silent. It clumsily moved its body and looked around. In this empty space, other than Gu Qingshan's group of 4, there was nothing else. There were no roads here. Desolate and uninhabited. Only the cold wind could be felt. The prayers trial machine spoke. Seems like I've made a mistake. I need to start my business right away in order to form a close connection with this world, otherwise I'll be rejected by the human realm and have no choice but to return to Huang Quan. It looked at Gu Qingshan's group of 4. I'll first take on a business deal and settle down, then I'll talk to you in detail. Alright, Gu Qingshan sighed. I hope you can hurry up after all. Hell's invasion speed is only increasing, don't worry, I'll be back very soon. With a loud bam, the prayer's trial machine split into 2. One of them disappeared without a trace. Everyone exchanged glances. Liao Xing. I say, you can even create clones. With another loud noise, the second prayer's trial machine returned and appeared in front of them. Chapter 435. The Holy Empire. This was the area where the frozen hell erupted. Although most of the monsters had been cleaned up, the ice and snow still remained. The weather was also slowly changing. Nighttime. The slums. Everyone who needed to rest had already rested. Icy rain was falling from the sky, and the cold wind blew through the deserted streets, making whistling sounds. The roads were slippery and slippery, almost no one was there. On a night like this, you couldn't even find a target to rob. The gang members had all retreated back to their nightclubs, casinos, bars, drinking themselves into oblivion. In the dead end of the slums, a brand new, shiny machine suddenly appeared. It looked like a vending machine, but also like a video game console. The machine was jet black, with a large 1 painted on the side. The prayer's trial machine. It had been changed a bit. Inside a layer of transparent glass, there were cans, snacks, and tightly packed instant lunchboxes filled to the brim. For the starving poor people, this was undoubtedly a timely help. In the past few minutes, 2 groups of homeless people and poor people had already tried to destroy it, trying to break the glass to get the food inside. But the machine was still intact. The homeless people were all lying on the ground, moaning in pain. After they helped each other up and left, a group of teenagers appeared at the corner of the street. Look, they can't destroy that food machine, one of them said. Let's go, maybe we'll have to rely on it for tonight's dinner, another said. They surrounded the pitch-black prayer's trial machine. Destruction and attack began. Every time they launched a ferocious attack, they would definitely suffer the same damage. A few moments later, they were just like the 2 groups of homeless people from before, lying on the ground. The prayer's trial machine was still intact. What the fuck, what the hell is this thing? One of the teenagers rubbed his stomach and cursed. His friends didn't say anything, only caring about the pain. The prayer's trial machine suddenly let out a rumbling noise. Although you were rude before, since you asked, I'll tell you. A burst of passionate music began to play. The god of Huang Quan was merciful, to satisfy the wishes of living beings. He created me. That's right, I am the great entertainer of the old gods. I am the cold prayer's trial machine. Silence reigned. The teenagers exchanged glances. The machine can talk. It was obviously different from the usual electronic language. It seemed to have its own consciousness. In the dark night, such a thing appeared out of nowhere. This was really strange. The group of children from the slums stood up silently, supporting each other as they staggered forward. Whatever this is, it's best to stay away from it. Having made up their minds, they walked faster than usual. However, the last little boy did not give up. He said hatefully, "Since you are God's benevolence, then take out your food and let us eat it." "I'm sorry." The prayer's trial machine rumbled. There's no such thing as a free lunch." "What the hell?" The little boy gritted his teeth and asked, "Then what can you do?" "Justice. Judgment of evil. As long as you have such a wish, I can do it for you," the prayer's trial machine said. The little boy was stunned. He was only 11 years old this year, but his family did not have the money for him to learn a skill, nor did they have the means to pave the way for his future. Only his grandmother was left at home, and she was seriously ill in bed. Therefore, he could only wander the streets and make friends with others like him, stealing as a source of income. If that's the case, then you're a very high-tech thing, the little boy concluded. In your words, I'm actually black technology, the prayers trial machine said. The little boy's friends came back, wanting to pull him away. The little boy angrily said, "Bullshit. If you really are black technology, then kill Max if you have the guts." Max was the mafia boss of this area. All drug dealing, human trafficking, robbery and murder, as well as taking over the market, he was the one who called the shots. The parents of this group of children had all suffered because of this person, and some of them had even paid with their lives. The little boy was an orphan. His father was a straightforward person who refused to submit, so Max found an opportunity to kill him, while his mother was also sold. The prayers trial machine spoke. "I can't just casually kill an innocent person." Hearing that, the children all burst out in laughter. "No, innocent. Ah ha ha ha, Max is innocent. That's the funniest joke I've heard this year. This machine, there must be something wrong with its AI." The little boy's eyes showed deep disappointment. "But," the prayers trial machine spoke, "if you're willing to let him be judged and find out that he's an evil person, I'll think of a way to kill him. Are you willing to let me judge him?" "Of course we are," the little boy shouted. His friends also spoke. "We are willing. We are willing." "Very well, then please give me your blood." The prayers trial machine spoke. All was quiet. The prayers trial machine explained. "The blood of living beings is tainted with a small amount of prayers. Only prayers can operate this machine. Let's go." "This is a strange thing," the little boy's friends said. They pulled the little boy and quickly left. The street returned to silence. Not too long later, the little boy once again stood in front of the prayers trial machine. He wiped the rainwater off his face and asked, "Can I really do justice?" "Yes, as long as you give me your blood," the prayers trial machine answered. "How much?" "I'm guessing you're dealing with a sinful person, so you have to use the ultimate judgment. How much?" "Just like I said, you'll need quite a bit of blood, because blood contains bits and pieces of prayers. How much?" The little boy was trembling, his eyes filled with desire. In this dark and miserable fate, the little boy wanted a ray of light. Even if this was most likely a prank, he was willing to give it a try. The prayers trial machine let out a ray of light that scanned through the little boy's bony body. After a while, the prayers trial machine sighed. "You are our first customer in this world, so you only need a symbolic drop of blood," it said. The little boy sighed in relief and said, "I'm willing to give you this drop of blood. You're a great young man, willing to fight against evil. Now, put your hand on the black area on my left. Is that so?" "Yes, that's so. Done." The little boy pulled his hand back and carefully looked at it. There was no wound. He didn't feel anything just now. Indeed, it was only a single drop of blood. Even a little boy who hadn't eaten for an entire day would be able to take it. The prayers trial machine let out a series of rumbling noises. "Ah, I got my first drop of blood," it spoke in a low voice. "Esteemed customer, please state the sinner you want to judge, as well as his identity." The little boy shouted expectantly, "Max, the boss of the gang, Max." The prayers trial machine let out a series of rumbling noises. "The trial is about to begin," it spoke with a solemn tone of voice. "As this is the opening trial, it needs to be treated with utmost caution. Currently searching for this world's trial method. The most eye-catching trial method in this world has been found, using the world's hollow brain to broadcast the trial live. Currently selecting this world's presiding judge. The most feared presiding judge of this world has been found, inviting the murder clown to take part in the opening trial. Pay the corresponding price." The murder clown has agreed, and now the trial shall begin. On the entire planet, all the instruments that could display images lit up at this moment. The scene of the murder clown judging the champion of Eternal once again appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Wearing a cold and stiff smiling clown mask, a jet black armor, a pair of black wings of light on its back, As the murder clown walked out from the darkness, a spotlight shone on it. The clown put its hand in front of its mouth and whispered, "I found a new job." It nervously looked around, sighing in relief after a while. Taking out a crumpled piece of paper from somewhere, the murder clown spread it open and read, "Then, tonight's guest is Max, the Holy Empire's Max." The clown started to seriously clap. Someone suddenly appeared next to it. A man with slicked back hair, wearing a black vest, a hooked nose, a black beard, and a glass of liquor in his hand. The mafia boss, Max. As soon as Max appeared, he was clearly surprised. The murder clown. He looked at the clown and gulped. Max reached his hand into his chest to take something out. A second later, he realized what kind of existence he was facing. His hand froze, then forced a smile. "What do you want, sir?" The murder clown grabbed his hand and held it tightly. The clown spoke. "Congratulations, I really want to chat with you for a bit longer, but our live stream time is limited, and we don't have any sponsors, so we'll start the trial right now. Max's wonderful life is about to begin, please watch." The screen changed. All the evil deeds Max has done in his life were shown on the screen. Fighting, robbing, murder, selling women and children, collecting protection fees, taking drugs and selling drugs, opening a casino, cheating, killing entire families. All the atrocities that made people's hair stand on end, all the inhumane crimes he committed, all of them were shown on the screen. Each scene lasted for a few seconds, telling the audience the whole story of his crimes. It took several minutes for the image on the screen to disappear completely. The murder clown and Max once again appeared in front of everyone. The murder clown let go of his hand and spoke. "According to Mr. Max's crimes, we've found the most suitable classical punishment for him." 5 ropes flew out, tying around Max's hands, legs, and neck. The ropes were quickly tied into a dead knot. The other end of the ropes disappeared into the darkness, no end in sight. "Damn it, what the hell is going on here?" Max tried to break free. The more he struggled, the tighter the ropes became. The ropes became tighter and tighter, until Max couldn't even move anymore. His body was stretched out in the shape of a, held in place by the ropes. "Now, time is up to everyone," the murder clown spoke. "Please begin the voting. Those in favor of Max's death, please spend a drop of blood to vote for him to die." Right, of course you can vote a few more times." As soon as the murder clown finished speaking, a red number appeared in front of Max's chest. Below the red number was a stopwatch that didn't move. The murder clown explained. Every time the red number increases by 1, it means that someone has spent a drop of blood to wish for Mr. Max's death within 3 minutes. If the red number reaches 1 million, Mr. Max will receive the classical punishment of being torn apart by a car. And now, the countdown begins. The stopwatch began to tick. In reality, a notification appeared in front of everyone. "Are you willing to use your blood to decide the death of Mafia boss Max?" A few people were cautious and didn't pay any attention to the prayer's trial machine. But a lot more people didn't think that way. Max's entire life was filled with evil, committing countless crimes that would anger even the heavens. Any normal person would be filled with righteous indignation if they saw it. There would always be people who didn't know him, who didn't mind spending a drop of blood to vote for him to die. Around the world, scum like him deserves to die. "Old man, calm down, what? I've lived for so long anyway, even if the murder clown wants to kill me, I don't care. I want to donate blood." At another location, a man tried to persuade her. "Honey, calm down, don't pay any attention to the murder clown, it's a terrifying monster." His wife's eyes reddened, saying, "Bullshit! This Max is too despicable. He's ruined so many families, I don't care, I want to pay a drop of blood." Saying so, she gave a drop of blood. Thinking about it, she still wasn't willing. Looking at the line of text in the air, she asked, "I want to give a bit more, can I?" The text changed into a new line. "Of course, you can give as much as you want, I'll give 10 more drops." The Fushi Royal Palace. Your Majesty, this seems a bit dangerous. An official tried to persuade her. It's fine, I know the murder clown, this is a very interesting thing, let me try, I'll give 20 drops of blood, I want Max to die. Monarch Verona acted like she just found a new toy and said that. The Holy Empire. The Mafia's casino. A man who looked like Boss spoke. So it's Max, perfect, we still haven't gotten our revenge for last time, let's all donate blood. Boss, aren't you afraid this might be a trap? One of his subordinates asked. The world has already become like this, what's there to be afraid of? Not to mention, although the murder clown is scary, it hasn't done anything to civilians, you have to be careful of that. Saying so, the mafia boss gave a drop of blood. You can all donate as well, yes. Those who knew Max, those who didn't, all made their decision at this moment. Not to mention, there were quite a few people in the slums who hated Max to the bone. Quite a few people chose to donate blood on the spot. The red number quickly increased. In just 20 seconds, 1 million drops of blood had been gathered. And this was only the beginning. People noticed that giving a drop of blood didn't affect them at all. More bystanders began to get involved in the matter. The number of blood kept increasing. 3 minutes quickly passed. Time was up. 1 million drops of blood was gathered in 20 seconds. 3 minutes, 89 million drops of blood. What a touching scene, everyone is so passionate about the death of others. The murder clown sighed. Mr. Max, you've received an astonishing amount of support and won the punishment of being split into two, please enjoy yourself. I won't disturb you any longer. Saying so, the murder clown disappeared into the darkness. Only Max was left at the scene. The ropes around his arms, ankles, and head were quickly pulled taut. A second later, an irresistible force came from the ropes, causing everyone who was watching to feel their hearts tighten. Arg! Max screamed in agony. It takes a lot of effort to chop off a person's head and limbs, let alone slowly pulling them apart. It's easy to imagine how much pain the person is going through. It took a total of 10 seconds. Swoosh! Blood gushed out like a fountain. The 5 ropes took Max's arms, legs and head into the darkness. Only Max's body was left. This body had no head, no hands, no legs, it was Max who was split into 2. Only his torso remained. The first trial is over, the prayers trial machine reported. The trial cost 1 million prayers, the remaining prayers is an auspicious number. 88 million due to the excess prayers. This machine will be used to solve Max's remaining problems. All of his assets will be converted into credits and distributed to those who have been harmed by him according to the degree of harm they have suffered. This trial is over, please look forward to the next one. All the screens automatically shut down. The entire planet's projection equipment returned to normal. The trial was over. The boy stood in front of the trial machine. Is Max really dead? He asked. Yes, he's already reported to hell. The prayers trial machine answered. Is that true? It's not just a dream, is it? The boy asked in disbelief. Of course it's not a dream, I've converted a sum of credits and deposited it into the Holy Empire Bank under your and your mother's names. The password is 88. Next. Please turn around and face behind you. The boy turned around as told. His mother was standing behind him, wiping away her tears while looking at him gently. Mom. Chapter 436. After the trial was over, the entire planet went crazy. Prayers trial machines were found all over the world. It split up very quickly. In every city, every place with people, such a machine would appear. The news all over the world began to report it. Scientists, governments all over the world began to pay attention. Everyone tried to communicate with this strange thing. Facing the first trial, the first person to react was a prisoner. At the time, the entire prison was on a walk. The prisoners were circling around the field, slowly walking around. Suddenly, a loud explosion was heard. Outside the barbed wire fence, a prayers trial machine appeared. Everyone was startled. The prisoner looked at the prayers trial machine, then suddenly ran towards the fence. He grabbed the wire and tried to reach his hand out. "I can reach it." The prisoner didn't know how to use it, so he only used his hand to hit the prayers trial machine. The prayers trial machine immediately let out a rumbling voice. "Esteemed customer, please state the sinner you wish to judge, as well as his identity." "Bird, police chief," the prisoner quickly answered. This time was different from the first. As the presiding judge, the murder clown had already received his payment and left. Instead, a faint figure of Tian Ho appeared. The Tian Ho figure appeared above the prayers trial machine. The prayers trial machine rumbled and replied, "Currently determining if police chief board is a criminal." On each side of the Tian Ho, a heart that gave off a milky white light and a heart that gave off a black light appeared. As soon as the two hearts were placed on the tray, the white heart rose up high, while the black heart sank all the way down. "Unforgivable sinner, meets the conditions for trial," the prayers trial machine answered. "Then let's begin," the prisoner hurriedly shouted. From afar, two prison guards were running towards him. "Please pay blood." "You want my blood?" The prisoner was surprised. "Only blood can be exchanged for a blood ending. Please pay blood," the prayers trial machine answered. "How much?" The prisoner gritted his teeth. 200 milliliters, take it quickly." As soon as the prisoner said so, he was caught by the two prison guards and dragged back. The prisoner held onto the barbed wire with one hand, while the other was still on the prayers trial machine. The two prison guards used all their strength to drag the prisoner back. The prison guards pressed him to the ground, beating him with all their might. "Is the deal done?" The prisoner screamed in pain, but his eyes never left the prayers trial machine. "Rumble." The prayers trial machine spoke with a solemn voice. "Blood has been received, begin trial." Its voice resounded in the hearts of all humans. "Human, when you chant the prayers trial machine, you will be able to see this trial in your mind. Chief Bird, the crimes of his life are beginning to unfold." Scenes of bribery, false testimony, framing, private transactions, and sheltering drug dealers were all displayed in front of everyone. "Look, look!" the prisoner on the ground cried and shouted. The current scene was exactly the scene where Bird stuffed a bag of drugs into his pocket and then arrested him. In the next scene, Police Chief Board received someone else's reward, a detached villa and a large amount of credit. The two prison guards were stunned and stopped. Board's evil deeds were exposed in front of everyone. The prayers trial machine's voice came, wearing the cloak of righteousness, yet sheltering evil, bringing pain and suffering to so many innocent people. Mr. Board's crimes will be increased. Within 3 minutes, when the red number reaches 10,000, Mr. Board will be nailed to the pillar of shame, enjoying the scorching heat of the flames. Board was wearing the uniform of the Empire's police chief, appearing in everyone's mind. Board shouted, "This is a demon, he's deceiving you, I'm innocent. Someone save me. A god." He was nailed to a pillar, a red number was projected from his chest. Below the red number was a stopwatch that didn't move. "Now let the countdown begin." The stopwatch began to move. In reality, a notification appeared in front of everyone. "Are you willing to use blood to decide Police Chief Board's death?" Almost immediately, the red number reached 10,000. 3 minutes later, the red number reached 20 million. Obviously, everyone understood what this meant. After going through so many strange things, everyone had a certain level of immunity towards these strange things. In the hearts of the people, they were more resentful of the evil. "Mr. Board, you've received an astonishing amount of support and won the flame punishment," the prayers trial machine's voice rumbled. The pillar suddenly erupted in flames. Board screamed in pain. His body trembled violently, but his hands and feet were firmly fixed in place, and he couldn't move at all. The extreme heat of the flames caused him to slowly stop struggling. His sinful life was over. "The second trial is now concluded," the automatic prayers trial machine spoke. The remaining prayers will be converted into credits for Mr. Board's personal assets to compensate the victims. This vending machine does not accept change, no refunds. Minors are advised to watch with an adult. This trial is over. Please look forward to the next one. The image disappeared. Ahahaha, I've gotten my revenge. I've gotten my revenge. The prisoner laid on the ground, crying. The shackles on his hands suddenly loosened. The prison uniform was gone. A brand new set of clothes was now on his body, with a faint hint of cologne. He looked like he was in high spirit. The prisoner looked at himself, a bit in disbelief. Suddenly, a piece of paper jumped out from his pocket, landing in front of the guards. Proof of acquittal. One of the guards read it out loud. Is this real? The warden also came and loudly asked. One of the guards took out a scanner and scanned the proof of acquittal. Beep. This is the latest trial result. It has been successfully verified. All the prison guards sucked in a cold breath. The warden's communicator suddenly rang. He took the call and kept replying, "Yes, yes." After hanging up, the warden looked at the prisoner, who had changed completely. "Let him go," he explained to the guards. "Impartial goddess has approved of this, as has Her Majesty the Empress. From this moment onwards, every minute, every second, as long as someone chanted the prayers trial machine, they would be able to watch the trial." The trial didn't stop for even a moment. There was too much injustice in the human world, as well as too much evil. And now, everything had finally been settled. Countless people from all over the world rushed towards it. Everyone wanted to be the first to get their revenge. Very quickly, everyone realized something. It was impossible to stop anyone from using the prayers trial machine. Because the prayers trial machine would always have a way to appear next to the victims. There was also a widely accepted question about this machine. A large one was written on the outside of the prayers trial machine. Then, is there a 2 machine? Humanity didn't have to wonder for too long. The answer came very quickly. On the empty field outside the mountaintop mansion, 3 large video game machines appeared in front of Gu Qingshan's group. Next to the black prayers trial machine was a claw machine. This machine was painted blue with a 12 on the side. "Greetings, brave young ones, I am the Sea of Suffering machine to save living beings." The claw machine greeted them. The other was also a black vending machine with a 23 on the side. "If you want to vent your anger, you don't need to do anything bad, just come to me, I am the anger calming machine," the machine loudly shouted. A red self-service camera machine with a 47 on the side. "I am the sinner repent machine." The machine looked at Gu Qingshan and slightly bowed. "Although you've killed quite a few people, you have no use for me, dear." They were constantly splitting into new machines. The new machines quickly disappeared from where they stood. From the looks of it, they were heading to different parts of the world. The prayers trial machine cleared its throat and spoke. "Let me introduce you first." After it finished introducing the 3 machines, Gu Qingshan's group was completely stunned. "Everything they make is like this. Are the divinities of Huang Quan that bored?" Gu Qingshan mused. "Our Huang Quan has always been orderly. When they have free time, the divinities also need to have some fun," the Sea of Suffering machine explained. Chapter 437. What are these machines for? Everyone in the world was curious. After the game of Eternal and the murder clown, the governments of the world had become more cautious of these strange things. At first, the governments forbade their citizens from getting close to these machines. But these machines could teleport, appearing here and there in one moment, impossible to guard against. But a few brave professionists and citizens quickly became familiar with these 4 machines. Information about the functions and usage of these 4 machines quickly spread across the entire planet. In the end, even a few government agencies began to use these machines. The governments of the world could only turn a blind eye. The Federation, a large city. 7 to 8 police officers surrounded the Misery Sea machine, nervously watching a police officer operate it. The police officer's forehead was covered in sweat. He was staring at this claw machine with a serious expression. Carefully controlling the joystick, he aimed the claw at a doll. "This is it." He abruptly pressed the button. The claw went down and caught the doll. But halfway up, the doll fell off the claw. "Ha! What the hell? It failed." The police officer's heart sank again. "It still didn't work?" a voice called out. The police officers turned around, straightened their backs and shouted, "Boss! Hello, boss!" A fat policeman in uniform strode over and nodded slightly at the crowd. He pulled out a small, thin young man from behind him. The young man's face was pale. His body was thin, wearing an oversized sweater that didn't fit him at all. This was the best he had. The fat police officer said, "I've hired an expert claw machine, we'll definitely succeed this time." "That's great." Hearing that, the police officers were ecstatic. Very quickly, the young man stood in front of the claw machine and placed his hand on a black contact area. The claw machine lit up and the game's music began to play again. "You can activate it once with 1 drop of blood." The young man looked at the fat police officer. The police officer said, "For 1 drop of blood, I'll reimburse you 1,000 credits." The young man nodded. He received the card from the police officer and read, "Wang Mingkai, 16 years old, female." A flash of light scanned through all the dolls in the claw machine. "It's ready, have fun." The claw machine spoke. The young man grabbed the controller and quickly scanned all the dolls. He was looking for a good doll to hold. He was an expert at catching dolls, and had almost reached the level of being undefeatable. Their family used to run a large amusement park, but when the man-eater fiends descended, the entire amusement park was destroyed. His parents were eaten, but he survived and has been homeless ever since. The apocalypse had destroyed the young man's happy home, and now he could only wander the street. The youth controlled the claw and chose a suitable target from among the many dolls. It was a black vending machine, and its name was Calming Vending Machine. The so-called anger and anger elimination machine is when the machine replaces you, pulling someone's ear, pinching their nose, blindfolding their eyes, scratching their feet, kicking their butt, etc. This isn't evil at all, at most it's a prank, almost 100 different kinds of pranks. This will allow the user to vent a bit. If you're not satisfied with this level of venting, the anger and anger elimination machine will secretly tell you that it's actually very powerful, but the Lupraire's trial machine is its wife. So it can't do anything evil, and can only endure the humiliation. When you spend a drop of blood, you can activate this machine, and it will do some things for you that are within the scope of tickling. But ever since the apocalypse, countless people have lost their lives to the sea monsters, man-eater fiends and man-killer fiends, and now 3 hells have appeared at the same time, who would use this thing to prank others. That night, the situation changed. The anger and anger elimination machine welcomed its first customer. The first customer was a 17 to 18 years old young man. He used a drop of blood to activate the machine. Ding dong! The anger and anger elimination machine let out a clear chime. It lowered its voice and asked, "Do you want to secretly do something bad? Use this machine to buy the number of pranks you want." The Lupraire's trial machine definitely won't notice. "I want to do something bad," the young man coldly replied. "Then, what do you want to do?" the machine asked. "Using a feather to scratch my feet, using a large shoe to kick my butt, give me one of each," the young man said without changing his expression. "Thank you, 20 drops of blood." The young man put his hand on the black part of the machine. "Very well, I've received your payment. May I ask who you want to use it on?" the machine asked. "Can I use a pen name?" "Yes," the young man told it a name. The machine answered, currently scratching his feet, "I guarantee he'll wish he was dead." A few moments later, the machine spoke again, currently kicking his butt, I guarantee he'll know there's someone who deeply hates him. Your evil actions have ended. If you want to do evil again, please wait for 24 hours. The young man nodded, showing an expression of relief as if he had gotten his revenge. He muttered, "Let's see if you dare to stop updating again." After the teenager left contentedly, the second customer followed closely behind. Very quickly, the second customer also left with an expression of victory. His ramblings drifted through the air, turning into a single sentence. Chapter 438. Other than the prayers trial machine, the sea of suffering machine, and the anger calming machine, there was also a sinner's repent machine marked with a 47 on the side. It was a red self-service selfie machine. Humans can take a selfie, then pay with their own blood to erase their crimes from the picture. Depending on the crime, the amount of blood they have to pay is also different. Those who have committed heinous crimes can't even redeem themselves with their entire body's blood. Those who have committed minor crimes can only keep their lives after using this machine. This is the only way for normal people to resist the prayers trial machine. After all, regardless of whether they've committed a major or minor crime, as long as they're on the prayers trial machine, they only need to pay a single drop of blood to vote for their crimes. There have already been quite a few people who didn't deserve to die who were voted to death. Because of that, the red self-service selfie machine had an endless amount of business. These ridiculous Huang Quan machines helped to alleviate people's anxiety during the apocalypse. Especially the prayers trial machine. After it appeared, the relationship between people became much better. "Hey, what did you get as payment from the prayers trial machine?" Zhang Youngho asked Yi Fei. "My God's chosen skill has changed a bit. I can now choose what I want to hear," Yi Fei smiled. "Congratulations, you can talk to your girlfriend whenever you want." "That's right, Knight." A secluded area. Everyone who didn't have anything to do with it had been chased away. Valiant armed men in combat suits and armed with all kinds of weapons surrounded the area. They spread out in all directions, vigilantly watching their surroundings for any movement. In the middle of the crowd, in an empty space, the 4 doomsday consoles were placed side by side. A few mysterious people wearing black coats with their hats pulled down were standing next to the apocalypse machines. "Shall we begin?" one of them asked. "Begin," an aged voice said. As soon as he said so, a few people wielded their weapons and stood next to the claw machine. The man walked up to the machine and placed his hand on it. The claw machine lit up as the game's music began to play again. "You can activate it once with 1 drop of blood, ding dong. I want to capture the President of the Federation, can you do that? Please state his name and age." The man spoke. The claw machine remained silent for a while before saying, "I can't grab this person." "Why? Isn't he an ordinary person?" That person couldn't help asking. The doll machine said, "Because you have evil thoughts in your hearts." The man turned his head and looked behind him. "Switch to another machine," the old voice said. The man then walked in front of the prayers trial machine and said, "I want to judge someone." The prayers trial machine let out a rumbling sound. "Dear customer, please tell me the sinner you want to judge and his identity." The man whispered, "I want to put the President of the Federation on trial. I cannot judge this person." The prayers trial machine answered. "Why? Previously, when the Chief Justice of the Federation was convicted of a felony, you even tried him. Why didn't you try the President?" The man asked. The prayers trial machine answered, "Even though he's very good at playing tricks, it's all for the benefit of the people, so he's not a bad person." They looked at each other in dismay. "Truly damnable," the aged voice said. "How strange, we've tried to kill him so many times but still couldn't kill him," another old voice said, "and now even this strange thing is protecting him. In the history of the Federation, we've used the same method to change the president so many times. Why do we always fail this time?" Another old voice asked. The most important thing is that more and more people are supporting him. Zhang family's martial saint and the new generation of hitmen are all protecting him, and that Federation scientist, he's the most hateful. If this continues, whatever bill he wants to sign, that bill will be carried out, a worried voice said. Let's go and arrange for the next assassination. I heard that cats have 9 lives. If he doesn't die, I'll just keep killing. That's right, how strange. After saying so, they split up and left this secluded area. So that's all you can do? Gu Qingshan couldn't believe it. That's right, the prayers trial machine answered. Then what about hell? The prayers trial machine answered. Please take note of our numbers. I can see them, they're 1, 12, 23, and 47. The machines that deal with all matters of Huang Quan, numbered from 1 to 88, there are a total of 88 of them. As Huang Quan's daily work and daily life machines, not only can we deal with all sorts of matters, we also have a certain amount of entertainment functions. This is to ease the pressure of the demons and gods of Huang Quan, improving their quality of life. Gu Qingshan asked, what about the machines responsible for fighting against hell and the dead? Regretfully, on the way to the human realm, besides our 4 machines, the rest of our companions were all destroyed. Why were they destroyed? The road to the human realm is currently filled with great danger. It's not easy to come here. Are there no other reinforcements? The ancient divine armaments are still trying to think of a way to maintain Huang Quan. They haven't come, so there's only us. In other words, with just your 4 machines, there's no way to deal with hell, right? That's right, our 4 machines can't. Gu Qingshan's group exchanged glances, seeing the deep disappointment in each other's eyes. Sir, urgent news. Impartial goddess voice came. What is it? Gu Qingshan asked. The screen opened. In the desert, a huge fortress had been built. The giants were trying to leave the desert to attack the city. They have unparalleled power, capable of taking over a city with just a wave of their hand. The Federation's interstellar fleet was constantly bombarding the city with cannon fire, but it didn't seem to have any effect. A particularly tall giant looked up at the sky, jumping up with all his might. He jumped up and grabbed an interstellar warship. Arg! Get down here! The giant roared in anger. He grabbed the interstellar warship and descended from the sky. Boom! The interstellar warship crashed into the ground, causing an earth-shattering explosion. The other interstellar warships hurriedly took cover. Ahahaha, living people, submit, you shall be our food from now on. The giant laughed in a frenzy. The screen flashed. A metropolis of the Fuxi Empire. Giant coffins appeared out of thin air one after another. They silently hovered above the city, their numbers increasing. Strange screams of pain could be heard from inside the coffins. Following that, the screen flashed again. This time, it was the Federation's capital. The densely packed giant coffins had already covered the entire sky. 2 capitals being covered in hell, no matter how you look at it, this can't be a coincidence. Watching the scene on the screen, Gu Qingshan took a deep breath. He forced himself to calm down and asked, how's the frozen hell? The screen changed again. From the satellite's perspective, the Holy Empire's territory had turned white. Ice and snow were silently devouring the country's land. Sir, a new situation has just occurred, Impartial Goddess reported. A new situation, Gu Qingshan repeated. The screen flashed again. This time, it was a small country in the world. This country was experiencing an earthquake. Buildings collapsed, bridges were destroyed, people were screaming and running away. But the earthquake didn't stop. More and more skeletons were rising from the ground. These skeletons were piling up, forming a mountain of bones. The earthquake didn't stop, the skeletons were also rising from the ground. The entire process had been going on for a few hours. Who would have thought the corpse prison would also descend upon the human realm? We're done for this time. The prayers trial machine stared at the screen and sighed dejectedly. Gu Qingshan couldn't help but ask the prayers trial machine, what exactly happened in Huang Quan? Can't I even tell you a single thing? The prayer's trial machine calmly replied. I'm not telling you is for your own good, Gu Qingshan replied. The world is about to be destroyed, how good would I be? The prayer's trial machine finally explained. You can only look at the divinities, not tell them, otherwise, as soon as you mention a particularly vicious existence, it will immediately recognize you, follow your voice and descend upon this world. Trust me, there are some things that will instantly kill you as soon as they are used. Gu Qingshan went silent. He stared at the 4 hells on the screen. Seems like humanity is about to go extinct this time. This world has also reached its end. Liao Xing turned to run. What are you doing? Yi Fei shouted. Impartial goddess, give me the authority, I'm going to build a new spaceship. We need to escape this planet. Liao Xing shouted as he ran. Sir, would you like to give him the authority? Impartial goddess asked. Impartial goddess explained further. According to the current situation, it's best to escape this planet right now. Furthermore, large spaceships can easily run into space monsters, but Mr. Liao Xing has been piloting small spaceships for many years, so he has plenty of experience in spaceflight. Because the chances of a small spaceship running into monsters is very low, and Mr. Liao Xing has a comprehensive warp technology, he can guarantee your survival, and then what? To wander the universe forever? Gu Qingshan asked bleakly. Chapter 439. The Mountain Clearing. Gu Qingshan's group watched as a small-sized interstellar warship flew into the sky. Liao Xing was heading towards the S.W. Divine Temple. As long as he has Gu Qingshan's permission, he can immediately assemble a small-sized spaceship. Zhang Yongho spoke. The world is already like this, sometimes facing reality is also a form of courage. He patted Gu Qingshan's shoulder and said, You need to make a decision soon. Gu Qingshan nodded and looked at Yi Fei. Yi Fei hurriedly spoke. If there's a chance to win against hell, I'm willing to follow you, but if you want to leave, please take me, my mother, as well as my wife's tombstone, that's my only request. Gu Qingshan sighed. I'll think about it carefully if there's no other way. I'll have to leave. Zhang Yongho and Yi Fei exchanged glances and went silent. Gu Qingshan walked towards the top of the mountain by himself. Looking at his back, Yi Fei asked, Is he going to be all right? Zhang Yongho took out his holobrain to contact his family and said, Regardless of what his decision is, I need to take my sister with me first. You have a sister? Yi Fei was surprised. My parents and girlfriend too, Zhang Yongho replied. I also need to contact my mother. Yi Fei took out her holobrain and said. Gu Qingshan walked up to the top of the mountain. The night wind was gentle, very cool. If it wasn't for the clear view from the top of the mountain, allowing them to see the black mass of coffins in the sky above the capital, this would have been a very pleasant night. Gu Qingshan leaned against a tree and sat down. He sighed deeply. I didn't think the situation in this life would be even more dangerous than the one before. Even though he gave out cultivation scriptures, as well as the free serum for martial potential, God's chosen awakening and elemental awakening, there really isn't enough time. Humanity doesn't have enough time to grow. Even if he was a sword immortal, he couldn't defeat 4 hells by himself. He had wanted to fuse with the cultivation world to form a world, but now it seemed that it was too late. Can't take it anymore? Was it really the last moment? His hollow brain suddenly lit up. Liao Xing's noisy voice could be heard. Gu Qingshan, hurry and give me the authority. I want impartial goddess to provide the materials and help me build the spaceship. Can we make it? Gu Qingshan asked. Of course. Last time, I had no choice but to return because of the population problem. This time, I will definitely not make the same mistake. Liao Xing glared at him, swinging his arm. I'm going to go all out. These bastards from hell won't be able to touch a single hair on us. Gu Qingshan looked at Liao Xing, at his spirited appearance. He smiled. Very well, impartial goddess, give him the authorization. Understood, impartial goddess replied. Turning off the holobrain, Gu Qingshan said, Mr. Liao is truly a hero of his generation, impartial goddess replied. Your Excellency wants to save this planet, while he wants to run away. The pressure is naturally different. Please don't mind it too much, Gu Qingshan smiled. I understand. He closed his eyes, trying his best to think of a solution. From his past life to this life, every battle, every fight, every turn of events, every scripture, even every cultivation tool, every event, Gu Qingshan slowly went through everything in his mind. He was racking his brains, trying his best to think of a way out of this land of death. Time slowly passed. Gu Qingshan stood still, deep in thought, facing the hell of Huang Quan. No matter if it was the past life or this life, cultivators haven't really come into contact with it. This seems to be a futile effort. Before they knew it, a night had passed. Dawn was approaching. This was the darkest time of the day. On top of the mountain, it was completely dark, without any stars or moonlight. After staying silent for so long, Gu Qingshan still couldn't think of a solution. He began to mutter to himself. Huang Quan really is a place where I can't do anything. What could possibly be related to Huang Quan? Suddenly, he remembered something. The Chao Yin sword once used the thaumaturgy. Even a sea of bitterness will pass. To take a drop of forgetting river water from the black-cloaked skeleton. That was something that came from Huang Quan, a precious treasure that the black-cloaked skeleton spent over 1,000 years to obtain. Chao Yin, Gu Qingshan called. The Chao Yin sword appeared from the void of space. Forgetting river water, what does it do? Gu Qingshan asked. The Chao Yin sword continued to ring. You mean, you can refine it and make it a part of yourself? The Chao Yin sword tapped its hilt and continued to ring. Refining it is very fast, and from now on, I'll be recognized by the forgetting river, able to use, even a sea of bitterness will pass, inside the forgetting river. Gu Qingshan muttered. He smiled bitterly and slowly shook his head. Seems like the forgetting river water really is a treasure. But such a treasure can only be used on the forgetting river of Huang Quan. It can't deal with the four hells of the human realm. The human realm is about to be destroyed. Wait a minute. Forgetting river. It seems that when I first returned to reality, I once checked by Hua Sek's inheritance. At the time, I looked through every single divine skill jade tag they had. Gu Qingshan quickly took out the 7-colored fragrance bag. After looking through it for a bit, he took out something. It was a jade tag. This jade tag recorded the Samsara divine skill, Forgetting River. Gu Qingshan infused his inner sight into it and carefully checked. Huang Quan Path Divine Skill, Forgetting River. To practice this divine skill, the following prerequisites must be met: a female cultivator, 5th stage elemental spirit energy talent, God's chosen skill, soul call, secret art, sealed body yin shift, secret art, soul comes soul goes, samsara divine contract. Huang Quan ferryman. Reading through it, Gu Qingshan couldn't help but helplessly shake his head. I don't even meet the first condition. The last time I looked through it, I found out that I didn't meet the requirements and gave up. But I didn't remember wrong. To practice Forgetting River, there were 2 prerequisites that left a deep impression on me. Gu Qingshan skipped over the other parts of the divine skill and focused his inner sight on these 2 prerequisites. Secret art. Sealed body yin shift allows you to enter a state of death, no different from any other dead person in the world. Secret art. Soul comes soul goes. After you die, your soul will enter Huang Quan and can return. Gu Qingshan was so excited that he held the jade tag tightly. Within the endless darkness, he seemed to have found the only remaining ray of light in this world. This ray of light is so weak that to turn it into a sun that shines over the entire world, Gu Qingshan will need to go to an unknown world, take great risks to investigate, to search, to fight. But before that, I need to find the 2 keys that will unlock all of this. Those 2 keys. Gu Qingshan infused his inner sight into the 7-colored fragrance bag and carefully searched. After a while, he reached his hand out and found the 2 jade tags in his hand. Scanning them with his inner sight, he confirmed that there were no mistakes. That's right, this was the solution he finally came up with. This was the chance of survival that he was desperately searching for. Secret art. Sealed body in shift, secret art. Soul comes, soul goes. Gu Qingshan held the 2 jade tags like they were the most precious treasures in the world. A few lines of glowing text quickly appeared on the War God UI. You've discovered secret art. Sealed body in shift. To comprehend this secret art requires at least ascended realm cultivation. 300 soul points required. You've discovered secret art. Soul comes, soul goes. To comprehend this secret art requires at least ascended realm cultivation. 400 soul points required. Which secret art do you want to comprehend? That's good, I'm already an ascended realm middle stage cultivator, so I've met the requirements. Gu Qingshan silently felt lucky. He answered without hesitation, I want to comprehend both secret arts, are you sure? I'm sure. Immediately, 2 warm streams flowed from the jade tags into Gu Qingshan's palm, then along his arm into his body, finally converging at his thought sea. Gu Qingshan closed his eyes for a bit, silently comprehending the 2 secret arts. A few moments later, he opened his eyes. There were 2 lines of glowing text on the War God UI. You've comprehended secret art. Sealed body in shift, secret art. Soul comes, soul goes. 700 soul points required, current soul points remaining. Gu Qingshan looked away, staring at the endless darkness around him. Within the darkness, a small ray of light was slowly expanding. The sun had just risen. A new day had arrived. Thinking back to last night, when I asked about what happened in Huangquan, the prayers trial machine didn't even dare to answer. Because living people can't do anything to Huangquan, I instinctively didn't ask any further. But now everything is different. Gu Qingshan stood up, muttering, If you don't dare to tell me, then I'll go take a look myself in Huangquan. Chapter 440. What? There's no need for you to seek death? Yi Feili was shocked. Zhang Yongho looked at Gu Qingshan without saying anything. Don't misunderstand, I only found a way to let my soul leave my body and go to Huangquan, Gu Qingshan explained. Zhang Yongho and Yi Feili exchanged glances. Is that true? Yi Feili asked. It's true, Gu Qingshan very seriously answered. It was now that they were a bit convinced. What do you need us to do? Zhang Yongho finally spoke. Protect my body well, because if my body is damaged, even if my soul returns, it won't be able to enter my body. That would be true death. Can you really go to Huangquan? Yi Feili was shocked. Yes, there shouldn't be a problem, Gu Qingshan answered. Can we? You need ascended realm cultivation. I'm Qi training stage 7. I'm Qi training stage 7. If that's the case, I'll arrange for people to go, Zhang Yongho said. With a solemn expression, he continued, The Yellow Springs has driven away so many terrifying ghosts, and it seems that hell has also appeared in the human world in order to escape from the Yellow Springs. Something strange must have happened. You must be careful. Don't worry, if anything happens I'll come back, Gu Qingshan said. Sir, please choose a place to preserve your body. I will think of a way to protect it, impartial goddess said. Gu Qingshan turned to look at the mountaintop mansion behind her and said, Let's do it inside the mansion. The group returned to the mansion. Zhang Yongho immediately turned on his phone and began to arrange for people to go. Yi Feili said, I'll stay here, impartial goddess said. I'm currently creating a protective measure for you. Please wait a moment, sir, all right? Gu Qingshan replied as she tapped her inventory bag and took out a lot of common formation plates. The Bai Hua sex reserves were extremely rich, including many formation plates. Gu Qingshan took out a bunch of formation plates and divided them into large-scale offensive and defensive formations, creating a total of a few dozen large formations. In any case, he had plenty of spirit stones, so he didn't feel the slightest bit of heartache. Once the soul went to the Yellow Springs, the physical body would be extremely weak, and there would be no way to defend itself. The setup of the formation was directly related to his life, so he couldn't be stingy. Let's set it so that only living people can enter, Gu Qingshan muttered. He activated all of the formation plates. At this moment, Zhang Yongho's men arrived. Zhang Yongho started assigning tasks to the assassins. Yi Feili stood quietly next to Gu Qingshan on high alert. Everything was ready. Gu Qingshan sat down cross-legged and began to form hand seals. Sealed body in shift and a soul comes soul goes, have to be activated at the same time, no mistakes allowed. If you use the sealed body in shift first, you'll die right away, unable to form any more hand seals to use. Soul comes soul goes. If you use the soul comes soul goes first, your soul will leave your body and die right away, unable to revive. Gu Qingshan finished forming both hand seals at the same time, stopping in front of the last hand seal. I'm going to die, see you later, Gu Qingshan said. He circulated the spirit energy in his dantian and infused it into the two hand seals. Right away, he couldn't help but close his eyes, his hands hanging down powerlessly. Gu Qingshan's entire body lost all signs of life. He died just like that? How miraculous! Tong Tong, who was watching on the side, spat out her tongue. He's only temporarily dead. He's currently heading to Huangquan to check the situation. He'll return, Yi Feili emphasized. Everyone around couldn't help but be amazed. Zhang Yongho cleared his throat. All right, let's get to work. Although there's a miraculous defense, let's go patrol the mountain. Report to me immediately if anything happens. We need to make sure nothing goes wrong. This is saving the world, brothers. If there's such a thing as merits, you'll probably be able to use it to go to heaven after you die, the hitmen all agreed. They've all tasted the sweetness of cultivation, and now that they've seen such a miraculous scene, they're naturally motivated and want to do everything they can for this unprecedented event. The hitmen dispersed in an orderly manner. The mansion returned to silence. Liao Xing went to the S.W. Divine Temple to assemble the new spaceship. This place was under the watch of Zhang Yongho and Yi Feili. What do you think? Yi Feili asked. Aside from us, Impartial Goddess is also watching from above. There shouldn't be any problems, Zhang Yongho answered. Then what about him? He can only rely on himself, Zhang Yongho sighed. That's right, no one can help him enter Huangquan, Yi Feili also commented. The two of them looked at the dead Gu Qingshan, a bit worried. Suddenly, two swords appeared from the void of space. They were Gu Qingshan's personal swords. They circled around Gu Qingshan's body once, then suddenly started buzzing in a certain direction. A few moments later, the two swords disappeared without a trace. What's going on? Yi Feili was surprised. If I'm guessing, they probably followed Gu Qingshan to Huangquan, Zhang Yongho answered. Gu Qingshan closed his eyes. His vision darkened, his body couldn't help but sway. First his breathing stopped. His heartbeat slowed to a crawl. His body temperature dropped. His spirit energy retracted inside his dantian. His heartbeat stopped. At the same time, Gu Qingshan couldn't help but open his eyes. He stood up from his own body. But there was another him, sitting cross-legged in place without moving. Gu Qingshan looked around. Tong Tong looked at him on the ground with a surprised expression. Everyone began to talk. But everyone's eyes were focused on the him, sitting cross-legged. Gu Qingshan waved her hand in front of Zhang Yongho. Zhang Yongho didn't move at all, only looking worriedly at the him, sitting cross-legged on the ground. Yi Feili didn't look at him. There was a faint blood-red glow around her body. She was obviously very nervous. No one could see the Gu Qing Shan standing still. Gu Qing Shan understood. I'm already dead. And now I'm in my soul form. A strange hand seal had enveloped him. Suddenly, an invisible crack appeared in the void of space. This was the power of the secret art, soul comes soul goes. It will guide Gu Qing Shan out of the human realm and into the space vortex. The passage to Huangquan was inside the space vortex. That means I can go to Huangquan now, Gu Qing Shan muttered. The earth sword suddenly jumped out from the sky and spoke with a thunderous voice. I'll go with you after all, the situation right now is very chaotic, you're in danger. You can go as well? Gu Qing Shan asked. As soon as he asked, he recalled that the earth sword had been to the space vortex, as well as Huangquan. Which means the earth sword can really go with me. Gu Qing Shan's mind relaxed a bit. For a sword cultivator, as long as they have a sword in hand, they'll feel assured. Not just me, Chao Yin is a weapon forged by the divinities, it can also go, the earth sword replied. Sure enough, the Chao Yin sword also appeared from the void of space. The fish jumped out from the Chao Yin sword, swimming around Gu Qing Shan. Chao Yin is going too? That's great, I'm starting to feel a bit more confident, Gu Qing Shan smiled. Let's go. Chapter 441. It was indescribably chaotic. Both space and time were chaotic. Everything around him was like a vast ocean. Occasionally, strange things would appear, but would quickly disappear into the unknown space vortex and disappear without a trace. This place was the space vortex. Seeing this familiar scene, Gu Qing Shan's heart sank. According to the two secret arts, the space vortex will only appear for a split second. After that, I'll be able to sense Huangquan's location. I'll be able to follow the secret arts to find the path to Huangquan. But I've already stayed in the space vortex for a while now, but that feeling still hasn't appeared. Why is that? Gu Qing Shan forced himself to think calmly. Right, these two secret arts lead me to the cultivation world's Huangquan, not reality's Huangquan. The two worlds correspond to different samsara, so is Huangquan different as well? Perhaps it's a long way to go to the cultivation world's Huangquan from here. That's why as soon as I entered the space vortex, I lost that faint sense of direction. At this point, a strange power appeared. This power gently enveloped Gu Qing Shan and guided him towards a certain direction. Gu Qing Shan carefully sensed it and understood. A giant corpse that has existed for over 100,000 years. This is its power. Gu Qing Shan was a bit emotional. It revealed a lot of secrets to me last time, telling me how to deal with the 100 Flowers Fairy's death tribulation, as well as the method to fuse the worlds together. But it was struck by an unprecedented amount of lightning, so much so that it didn't contact me for a very long time. Has it recovered yet? Fine, I'll go take a look. Perhaps with its knowledge, it'll be able to give me some advice. With that in mind, Gu Qing Shan allowed the power to guide him through the space vortex. Noticing his reaction, the power sped up. Gu Qing Shan's speed gradually increased, passing through a black vortex in the void of space, flying over a desolate hill, carefully circling around an empty city. Countless strange and unusual creatures could be seen in the void of space. Suddenly, a cyclops wielding a huge club fled in panic. Gu Qing Shan was not in a hurry to see what was chasing her. She was immediately pulled up by a force and flew vertically upwards, avoiding that place. After a long flight, he once again entered an ignorant world. It was a bronze pillar that connected heaven and earth. A huge corpse wearing black armor was nailed to the bronze pillar. The densely packed black skeletons lingered on the vast land for a long time. Gu Qing Shan slowly hovered in front of the giant corpse. "You've come," a voice rang out. "Yeah, long time no see. How's your injury?" Gu Qing Shan asked. "I won't die, or rather, I'm already dead anyway. This kind of injury will at most torture me for a while, it won't make me disappear completely," the giant corpse said. I have to thank you for what happened last time. I finally saved someone very important to me, said Gu Qingshan. What? Did you really do it? The giant corpse asked in surprise. It was obviously very interested. You took a person away from the hands of fate. Fate must have used an incomprehensible and bizarre experience to take revenge on you. Can you tell me what you went through? Of course I can, Gu Qingshan replied. He then told her what he went through. How interesting. Which means you're about to replace that Zishan young master and return to a world that's about to end, the giant corpse said. That's right, but that's not all. Gu Qingshan was a bit dejected. What else? Look at me right now, I'm in a state of death. I left my body to search for Huang Quan, only to fall into the space vortex and find nothing. Hearing that, the giant corpse laughed in a low voice. From what happened to you, fate's revenge is still ongoing. Do you regret saving that person now? Gu Qingshan resolutely answered. I don't, the giant corpse praised. Very good, come, let me take a closer look at your current state. A sudden gust of wind blew past Gu Qingshan's soul. How fast, you're already ascended realm middle stage, although you're still weak. This rate of growth is shocking. What you cultivate is the way of the sword. You've already reached the realm of Sword Saint. Very good, very good. I really didn't misjudge you. The giant corpse became serious and spoke. You've improved very quickly, your talent is also quite good. I think I'll need your help very soon. Just tell me, I'll help you, Gu Qingshan said. It might be a bit dangerous, Gu Qingshan smiled. Sometimes, even if you don't do anything, life will still be full of danger. The most important thing is that you've helped me. I won't forget that. Sensing his attitude, the giant corpse was even more satisfied. Very well, when you break through to a higher realm, I'll find you again. No problem. The giant corpse paused a bit and asked with concern. Leaving your body is a very dangerous thing to do. Why did you go to Huang Quan? Gu Qingshan then told him about what happened in reality, then asked, What do you know about Huang Quan? The giant corpse didn't say anything for a while, as if troubled. He pondered. The so-called samsara refers to the 6 worlds that create and destroy each other. The human realm that you're in would naturally have a corresponding world of Huang Quan. What about the other human realms? Of course they would correspond to other worlds of Huang Quan. But some human realms are very powerful, their world's level is very high, so the corresponding world of Huang Quan would also be ridiculously powerful. If that's the case, the world I'm in, the corresponding world of Huang Quan shouldn't be too powerful, the giant corpse stuttered. You'll know when you see it for yourself. Sometimes the situation isn't the same. It might change your mind, but then again, I don't recommend you to go to Huang Quan, the giant corpse continued. Something that could cause the entire Huang Quan to go wrong must be an extremely terrifying event. With your current cultivation, you won't be able to do anything in front of such great danger. I advise you to give up on your world. As long as there's a sliver of hope, I want to try. Otherwise, my Tao heart will become chaotic and I'll be crippled, Gu Qingshan replied. Is that world very important to you? That world isn't much. But there are a few people who are very important to me in that world. I don't want them to wander the universe. The giant corpse went silent for a long time. He suddenly spoke full of emotions. The world is hard to predict, just like how I didn't think I would end up like this, but right now you're my only hope. If you weren't such a person, you wouldn't be worthy of me placing my hopes on you. Saying so, the giant corpse sighed emotionally. Very well. Let me think about it. After thinking for a bit, he finally made up his mind. You're so outstanding, from your personality to your abilities, that's why I want to hide you for a while longer. It's still too early for you to come into contact with some unique entities. The best choice is for me to pass that thing on to you. A small, unassuming piece of scale fell off from the giant corpse's jet-black armor. This piece of scale flew straight in front of Gu Qingshan. What is this? Gu Qingshan asked in surprise. I've fought all over the 10 worlds undefeated, not only because of my strength, but also because of a few life-saving measures. This is a very good life-saving measure. Take it and learn it, is that so? Gu Qingshan received the black scale. The black scale broke off to reveal a glowing mystical rune. Countless years ago, when I was still young, one day I discovered this thing in an ancient ruin. It's helped me countless times. I've fully grasped it, so I'm now passing it on to you. I hope you'll learn it seriously. If you've made up your mind to go to Huangquan, this technique might be able to help you. Gu Qingshan seriously listened as her gaze fell onto the mystical rune. A line of glowing text was scrolling past the war god Ui. Chapter 442. Reading this line of text on the war god Ui, Gu Qingshan was a bit surprised. After living 2 lives, this is the first time he's heard of a mystery. Only to see on the war god Ui, the system was explaining this unique mystery one after another. The system has never treated any technique so seriously before. Mystery of all beings equal. You will learn how to distinguish the most basic components of each existence, obtaining the ability to change yourself into that existence. A description. You must obtain the components of that existence to distinguish its characteristics and laws in order to disguise yourself as that existence. Attention please. Attention please. War God System Unique Explanation. There are 2 options to learn this mystery. First, using spirit energy as the foundation to learn this mystery, the user will obtain the appearance of that existence, as well as the same presence and spirit energy waves as that existence. The same kind of existence will not be able to distinguish between you and the real you. Second, using soul points as the foundation to learn this mystery, the user will temporarily become an existence with the same essence as that existence. Attention. The existence mentioned here must have a soul. Attention. You must immediately make a choice to determine the basic source of power to learn this mystery. Attention. Once you choose the basic source of power, you will never be able to change it. After reading through, Gu Qingshan went silent for a bit. Normally, using spirit energy as a disguise would be enough. But Gu Qingshan thought further and further. He asked, System, does same essence mean that I'll become that existence? Correct, you will temporarily become that existence. The system quickly replied. The system surprisingly explained further. This mystery was originally held in the hands of a very small number of unique existences, but even such unique existences could only use a power similar to spirit energy as the foundation to learn this mystery. The soul points is divine power, the purest power from the world's origin, and no one in the 10 worlds knows about it. The only correct way to learn this mystery is to use soul points. The system recommends that you use soul points to learn this mystery. Gu Qingshan nodded. This was exactly what he was thinking. I choose soul points as my basic power, he said. The system replied. This mystery is a precious secret hidden deep within the laws of the world. To learn this mystery, please pay 2,000 soul points. So many. Gu Qingshan sucked in a breath of cold air. She gritted her teeth and said, Pay. Received 2,000 soul points, using remaining soul points to comprehend the mystery. The shining profound runes suddenly scattered into specks of light. These faint starlights circled around Gu Qingshan for a while and finally disappeared into the space between his eyebrows. Gu Qingshan closed her eyes and quietly experienced it. This was a technique that contained the mysteries of the origin of countless worlds. Gu Qingshan only needed to comprehend it quietly, but it was already an eye-opener for her. This was a subversive and huge gain of knowledge that stemmed from the very foundation of cognition. Gu Qingshan's understanding of cultivation and power became deeper. He had a better understanding of the operating rules of spiritual power and all other types of power. The laws of life and death of all living beings in the world appeared in his mind. Gu Qingshan suddenly understood. As a soul, he had unknowingly reached the soul formation late stage. He was confident that as soon as he returned to his body, he would be able to advance to the soul formation late stage right away. Just by comprehending this mystery, he was able to reach this step. Gu Qingshan himself was a bit shocked. While he was silently comprehending the mystery, the giant corpse was also telling him, "You are a cultivator, you can use spirit energy to practice this technique and learn how to disguise yourself. Perhaps you'll have a better chance of surviving in Huangquan." Gu Qingshan quickly thought about it. The giant corpse really doesn't know that I have soul points, and I'm also using soul points to practice this mystery. Thank you, I know this is a very precious item, I'll remember this favor. He solemnly clasped his fist and bowed. No need to thank me, I'm still hoping that when you become stronger, you'll be able to save me from this place. The giant corpse smiled. It then continued. The power I've accumulated is about to run out, I won't be able to keep you here for much longer, you'll have to leave this place soon. One last question, I can't find the corresponding Huangquan of my world, what do I do now? Gu Qingshan hurriedly asked. The giant corpse replied. No matter how chaotic Huangquan is, it won't completely lose its connection to reality, there should be some sort of guiding force, Gu Qingshan replied. But that force has disappeared, the giant corpse replied. In the human realm, this connection might be temporarily concealed, but within the space vortex, the power of the samsara would definitely not be concealed, so you need to stay at the entrance of the space vortex and silently sense this connection. Specifically, you will feel a faint pulling force within the space vortex. Follow this pulling force to the entrance of Huangquan, you'll see a large, dark cave that leads downwards. Make sure to stay within that dark cave, do not take any other paths. Because there are other paths around Huangquan, if you take the wrong path, you'll never be able to return. Gu Qingshan carefully remembered what the other party said. He nodded and sincerely said, Then I'll be going. If I don't die one day, I'll definitely come back to save you. The giant corpse suddenly said, You need to quickly become stronger. I can sense some sort of eerie monster. This monster is scarier than any monster that has ever appeared. It's slowly approaching the world that's imprisoning me. Gu Qingshan froze. This was the first time he heard despair from the giant corpse's mouth. Up until now, the other party had helped him a lot. And now, the other party was about to face danger. Gu Qingshan became serious. He quickly asked, What level of strength do I need to reach in order to deal with that monster you're talking about? Or rather, what do I need to do to save you? The giant corpse sighed. I'm not sure either, because I still haven't seen that monster. Gu Qingshan went silent. Don't worry, I'll quickly become stronger and come back to save you, he resolutely declared. The giant corpse didn't say anything, but Gu Qingshan felt that he seemed to be smiling. I hope we'll be able to meet again, the giant corpse finally said. Oh! A strong pulling force came over. Gu Qingshan was abruptly pulled out of the 100,000-year-old giant corpse's world. He was sent flying back like a streak of light. This time, his speed was even faster than when he got up. The strange scenery around him all turned into streaks of light. Almost in the blink of an eye, Gu Qingshan had once again returned to the space vortex. Gu Qingshan pondered for a bit, then formed a hand seal again. A crack appeared in the void of space. He went through and landed in the living room of the mountaintop mansion. Zhang Yongho and Yi Feili were sitting on either side of his body. The two of them watched over him with a serious expression. Gu Qingshan went in through the top of his head. He opened his eyes. The other two immediately sensed it. Gu Qingshan said, Keep an eye on the surroundings for me. He didn't explain anything else and entered a meditative state. After studying Mystery of All Beings Equal, his understanding of cultivation, swordsmanship, as well as the world as a whole had changed. This was a type of understanding. With this understanding alone, he couldn't stop himself from breaking through Ascended Realm middle stage to Ascended Realm late stage. Gu Qingshan closed his eyes, circulating the spirit energy around his body to carefully stabilize his cultivation. The spirit energy waves of someone who had just broken through to Ascended Realm late stage were fluctuating wildly, extremely chaotic. Gu Qingshan has to be careful and make sure his limbs and bones get used to the sudden increase in cultivation as soon as possible. Once he's done stabilizing his cultivation and made the necessary preparations, he'll be able to face his tribulation and pursue a higher realm. That was Sainted Realm. That was the realm that countless players in the past life dreamed of. Time slowly passed. Gu Qingshan finally opened his eyes. How is it? Are you okay? What's Huang Quan like? Zhang Yongho and Yi Feili both asked. Something else happened. I haven't gone to Huang Quan yet. Gu Qingshan took out a spirit-replenishing pill and put it in his mouth. His hands formed another hand seal and performed 2 secret art. The hand seals were completed. This time, I'm really going, he said. Zhang Yongho and Yi Feili exchanged glances and nodded. Chapter 443. After Gu Qingshan left, the mountaintop mansion once again fell silent. How do you feel? Zhang Yongho suddenly asked. That's hard to say, Yi Feili replied. He crossed his arms, mimicking Gu Qingshan sitting cross-legged, and tilted his head to one side. I just can't accept it. I'm supposed to be the strongest man in this world, Zhang Yongho cut him off. Other than Gu Qingshan and I, the strongest, Zhang Yongho continued. I'm also a bit envious of him. As a hitman, I still don't know what it's like to die. After a bit of silence, Yi Feili couldn't help but add, if I'm strong enough, I'll also be able to go to Huang Quan. That's right, such an interesting thing. The 3 of us should do it together, Zhang Yongho commented. Yi Feili looked at him and said, if you want to fight alongside Gu Qingshan, you need to quickly increase your cultivation. Look at you, you're only Qi training stage 7-inch, you're only at foundation establishment. Regardless, I'm stronger than you. Foundation establishment is still far from being able to compare to Gu Qingshan. Regardless, I'm stronger than you. Say, you man-killer fiend, can't you just talk nicely? Gu Qingshan left the human realm and entered the space vortex again. He didn't look around anymore, simply stood there and carefully sensed the changes around him. Not long after, a faintly discernible force gradually appeared from all directions. Gu Qingshan's heart skipped a beat. This power slowly enveloped him and pulled him down into the space vortex. But Gu Qingshan stood still. In his vision, a few lines of glowing text appeared. Detected that the user has triggered an unprecedented world storyline. It detected that the user's cultivation has reached Ascended Realm late stage. Current conditions meet activation criteria. Activate. World collapsing battle. After Gu Qingshan finished reading it, the lines of glowing text instantly disappeared. A streak of light flashed across the War God UI, turning into lines of blood-red text in the middle. To shatter the chains of fate and change the course of history, player Gu Qingshan has entered the Destiny Quest. Quest description. The world is on the verge of irreparable collapse, but you were able to travel to Huang Quan to search for the cause of this calamity. This has given the entire world a rare chance to reverse its collapse. Quest objective. Please do everything you can to save the Huang Quan realm and the human realm. After the quest is completed, you will receive a unique storyline reward. War God's Thaumaturgy, Sainted Realm. If the quest fails, the player will be teleported away and will never be able to return to the real world. Gu Qingshan stood at the entrance of the space vortex, silently looking at the War God UI. I'll be teleported away? Unable to return to the real world? Gu Qingshan said. Ding. The War God UI replied. That's right, if the quest fails, your only chance of survival is to immediately return to another spacetime, which is the space tunnel between Shenwu world and another world. Gu Qingshan went silent. I can't come back if I fail? I won't be able to see those familiar faces again, he sighed and casually said. I won't fail, the War God UI continued. Also, attention user, from now on, the user can spend 100 soul points to temporarily activate the detection function. Detection function? Gu Qingshan asked. That's right, there are too many monsters and demons in the space vortex that you don't know about. Using the detection function will help you understand the changes in your current situation, the system replied. This function will be removed after the user enters Huang Quan. That's a good idea. I'll pay 100 soul points, Gu Qingshan said. Right, aside from detection, can the system help me kill monsters? He asked again. Defeating enemies requires the player's own effort. The system can't do that for you. Also, please pay attention to your face. Thank you, the system replied. Alright, Gu Qingshan regretfully said. Gu Qingshan moved along the direction of the slight pulling force. As time passed, the pulling force became stronger and stronger, making it easier for him to tell which direction to go. The wind of the void faintly formed a vertical tunnel downwards. Gu Qingshan decided to jump and fell down into the space vortex like a meteor. The entire process of falling was very long. The wind in the space vortex became even more turbulent. Downwards and downwards, Gu Qingshan was falling with the wind. His speed was getting faster and faster. It felt like he was falling down a waterfall into an abyss. Along the way, many strange and unusual things flashed by. But Gu Qingshan was too fast. Even those terrifying things couldn't stop him in time. Gu Qingshan's mind moved. The Earth Sword and Chao Yin's sword appeared from the void of space, circling around him. Whenever a monster appeared, Gu Qingshan would immediately assume a defensive stance. He had to be careful. Entering Huang Quan as a soul, this was an experience he had never experienced before. After falling for over 2 hours, Gu Qingshan's speed was gradually slowing down. Below him was a dark cave several thousand meters wide. Gu Qingshan silently hovered above the cave. As a single soul, he appeared extremely small as he hovered above the cave. The dark cave was surrounded by flowing gray water. Looking up, he could see a few other caves in the distance. Some of these caves were giving off black smoke, while others were screaming and laughing. There was even one cave that was giving off a 5-colored glow and beautiful singing. Gu Qingshan didn't casually move, nor did he try to check it out of curiosity. Now that he was here, he was extremely cautious. The giant corpse had warned him that if he entered the wrong place, he wouldn't be able to return. After sensing for a while, Gu Qingshan confirmed that the pulling force was coming from the dark cave below him. Even so, he still didn't move. His gaze fell onto the edge of the cave. Out of nowhere, a hand appeared there. A giant hand, even the fingernail was bigger than Gu Qingshan. After this hand appeared, another hand quickly appeared. Both hands grabbed the edge of the cave and pulled. At this time, a notification popped up on the War God UI. Discovered Faceless Giant, Chaotic Type Demon, power equivalent to a Rejuvenation Realm late-stage cultivator. Then, a head shrouded in chaotic mist emerged from the black hole. From the looks of it, it was a chaotic type demon. It's the Faceless Giant. Gu Qingshan was very surprised. This is the entrance to Huang Quan. Why would there be a faceless giant here? And from the looks of it, it wasn't an out-of-body experience, but rather its real body that entered Huang Quan. Only souls can enter Huang Quan. How did it do that? At this point, the faceless giant noticed him and roared. Gu Qingshan's mind moved. The Chao Yin sword flew out, turning into a crescent moon-white sword phantom towards the faceless giant. The crescent moon-white sword phantom circled around the faceless giant's neck. The faceless giant's head fell into the black cave. Following that, its entire body fell in. Gu Qingshan didn't look happy at all. Something's wrong. He looked at the large black cave. In the cave, light and shadows were moving, the air flow was unstable, various chaotic auras and movements could be felt. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.